most grueling and brutal apprenticeship in all of sports, the Busch Grand National Tour, which today visits its most demanding classroom, the Monster Mile, at Dover, Delaware. Welcome from the most challenging one-mile oval on the NASCAR Tour. K&N Motorsports proudly presents live coverage of the Budweiser 200. Hello, everyone. I'm Steve Evans. Now, you may be asking, why are we starting our coverage at the back of the pack? This is where the story is. You see, some of those young lions out-qualified established Winston Cup stars that were converging on their turf. They also punished a couple of their own. Jeff Burton in the 99 car, he won earlier this year in South Boston, Virginia. He is clear back in the 26th position. Another winner on the Busch Tour this year is Butch Miller in the 52 car. He won at Hickory. He is clear back in the 27th position. Now, didn't anybody tell these guys that Harry Gant, at the age of 51, won the Winston Cup race this year in Talladega? Apparently not. They didn't show the bandit much respect. And amazingly enough, Davey Allison, who in the last 2 weeks at Charlotte has earned about $460,000, is clear back in 30th. They weren't reading your press clippings.
Well, I'll tell you what, we just missed the setup for qualifying. We went out on sticker tires, and the car just never grabbed the racetrack. So we went out practice this morning, and our Texaco Haviland Krispy Kreme racer is going pretty good, so we think we can get to the front.
We'll be watching you as you move through the field.
Well, we appreciate it. I'd like to say hi to my grandfather, who's at home recovering, and my wife and my little girl, Liz and Krista.
Have a safe ride. You know, one Winston Cup hero, well, he qualified very well, right, Brock Yates?
Absolutely right, Steve. This number 10 automobile on the outside of the front row. You recognize him, Ernie Irvin, former winner of the Daytona 500 this year. He is set to go, but he's got to beat this man, Dave Mader from Maylene, Alabama, who came in here only the second time in this race car, and he smoked them all in qualifying. Dave, great job in time trials, but you got 200 really hard, hot miles ahead of you. What kind of attack are you going to run? Set a pace, come in and out with Freddie Fryer, your crew chief signals, or are you going to just run as hard as you can and hope for a lot of caution?
Well, I've got a lot of good people here to race, and everybody wants to get in victory lane, so we're going to have to race wide open all day long and just hope for the best, and we'll have to see what the sealer does on the racetrack.
A little concerned about that groove, staying a one-lane groove, right?
Absolutely. They were just sealed the racetrack, and the outside lane hadn't been running as much, so I hope it's not as treacherous as it might could be.
Stay low. Okay. All right. But we've got some really fine rookies in this field, and for more on that, our broadcast associate and pal, Glenn Jarrett.
Sitting alongside of me is David Green, one of this year's most successful rookie candidates. David, you've off to a good start. You've got a fine qualifying run here at Dover. You're starting in 4th place. You sat on the pole at Daytona. You've won a race at Lanier Raceway in Georgia earlier this year. You got to feel good about your chances today.
Yeah, we do. This TIC Oldsmobile's running awful good, and I've never been here at Dover and got an excellent starting position along with a bunch of veterans. But, you know, we hope to go out there and stay clean and try to learn something today and be up front, you know, on lap 190.
Well, you've had a lot of experience, a lot of short track experience, and plus this crew that this car was driven earlier by Bobby Hamilton in the last couple of years. They got a lot of experience, so you got to feel good about all the races that they've run. You feel like they can bring you home in victory lane.
Oh, yeah, I believe it's already proven, you know, because me being a rookie, I have very little input on a lot of these tracks. You know, I just go out there and drive the car, and the car's been perfect every race, so we're going to try to do our best today.
David Green, certainly no stranger to victory lane. Look for good things out of him. Steve Evans?
All right, thank you, guys. NASCAR is only a few minutes away from moving these cars off of pit road and onto the Monster Mile. So let's go upstairs to our play-by-play man, Mike Joy. Michael?
Thank you, Steve, and hello, everybody. Busch Grand National Racing this season has been tremendously competitive. The 12 events run so far have produced 10 different winners. And here at Dover, 34 of 36 drivers have qualified within 1 second of the pole position. Joining me for our TNN coverage, once again, Phil Parsons. What will today's weather do to these drivers?
Mike, it's going to be extremely difficult for these guys to stay cool for 200 miles. The headers of these cars run right underneath the seat, so that generates a lot of heat. They have air ducts to try to bring cool air inside the car, but there's not any cool air. It's all hot air. It's hot air from the other cars. The ambient temperature is hot, so it's going to be extremely difficult with these hot and humid conditions for them to stay cool for 200 miles.
Phil, we're delighted to welcome one of NASCAR's all-time greats, Buddy Baker, to our TNN coverage today. a fellow who can speak very well to how tough and demanding this track is.
Well, it is very demanding. It's 24-degree banking in the turns. Even the straightaways are banked here. The groove is right around the white line on the bottom of the racetrack. And the only rest you have here is when you stop in the pits.
And that's not for long.
Not very long.
Buddy, glad to have you with us today. Stay with us, folks. Ready to go racing at Dover. TNN's exclusive live coverage of the 1991 Budweiser 200 from the Monster Mile in Dover, Delaware is being brought to you by Budweiser, the king of beers with that clean, crisp, cold taste. Nothing beats a Bud. And by Haviland Formula 3 Motor Oil. Add more life to your car. We return to Dover, Delaware, right after these messages. Welcome back to our coverage of the Budweiser 200 at Dover Downs. A nice crowd filling into the outdoor grandstand here. They're dressed for beach weather, and they've got it. Temperatures in the 90s, the smell of suntan oil. And they're expecting 200 miles of great racing, and they're bound to get it the way the Busch Grand National Series has gone so far this season. Their last run was last week at Charlotte Motor Speedway, as Steve Evans tells us in this Haviland Race Series update.
Mike, car number 87, Joe Nemechek, provided most of the thrills in last week's Busch race with a couple of spins early on. But as far as the racing went, Dale Earnhardt made a mockery of the field at the Champion Spark Plug 300 Busch Grand National race at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Earnhardt simply ran away and hid from the rest of the field. Next closest was Todd Bodine in the white 34 car, who qualified number 2, and that's where he would finish. Dale Earnhardt qualified only 21st, but was on the move, easily sliding through the field, taking over the lead on lap 51 and never looking back. Earnhardt would lead the rest of the way, all 149 laps, and was never really challenged. He coasted to a 2-car length victory and picked up a check for $35,500 with an average speed over 133 miles per hour in a very clean race. Now, Bobby Labonte continues to lead the Busch points, followed closely by Kenny Wallace, then Jimmy Hensley, Tommy Houston, and Joe Nemechek rounding out the top 5.
Well, you're looking at the Penrose Oldsmobile of series point leader Bobby Labonte. In only his second full season in Busch Grand National Racing, Bobby has risen to the top. He's already got some pole positions. He's won one race this year at Bristol. How do you feel your chances are today, Bobby?
Well, I know today's field's going to be awful tough. There's a lot of good cars out here, but, you know, on any given day, there's a top 20 that can win, one car out of the top 20, so I feel like our chances are as good as anybody else's.
All right, you've had a couple of near misses this year. Earlier on our telecast at Rockingham, you lost a race late, and also at Darlington. You got to feel like these super speedways owe you one.
Well, you know, I guess so. We won on a short track, which we didn't think we would do right off, but or like we did, but this is the same car we had at Rockingham and Darlington, so maybe it'll come through today.
Well, it certainly wouldn't surprise me or anyone else to see Bobby Labonte wind up in victory lane here today. Brock Yates?
Well, Glenn Bobby starts in 15th. His older brother, Terry, starts back in the 22nd spot. Terry, you are one of a number of top-flight Winston Cup drivers who are in these race cars today, and sponsor deals and prize money notwithstanding, it seems like a lot of people sitting at home in their air-conditioned living rooms are wondering why you guys have come out to sort of amuse yourselves by abusing yourselves in this hot race car. Will you learn anything tomorrow for tomorrow's big 500-mile race here?
Well, you should be able to. The setups are really close to the same in both cars. You know, we can figure out what the track's going to do. So I think it could be to our advantage. We might be able to pick up something that could help us tomorrow.
Are you going to set a pace out there and try to discipline yourself as far as stops are concerned, or are you going to come in at targets of opportunity, as it were?
Well, it's really hard to say. You've got to just see how the race is going, how your car is working, and see when the cautions fall. We're going to have to stop one time for sure.
Okay, all the best. Terry Labonte. Mike?
They are about ready to roll here at Dover Downs on the honor of the occasion of TNN's first live telecast as part of a 4-year agreement with the Monster Mile. Let's go down trackside to where TNN Vice President and General Manager David Hall, serving as professional Grand Marshal, is set to deliver the command.
Gentlemen, start your engines.
David says he sent out resumes. He's a professional Grand Marshal, and he does such a good job. Third time by, that's the signal being given there at the head of the field. They'll look for a green flag on the 3rd lap by. in this event. 200 miles the distance. Let's make a quick correction on those Charlotte results. We will in a minute. Here's Dave Mader on the pole from Maline, Alabama. Ernie Irvan is lined up alongside. In row number 2, we'll have Robert Presley from Asheville, North Carolina, lined up there with David Green out of Owensboro, Kentucky. Dale Jarrett, watch for him to explode out of the 3rd row with Kenny Wallace way up there in the points. Morgan Shepherd driving his own car with defending series champ Chuck Bound in row 4. Todd Bodine in the 5th row with Elton Sawyer out of Virginia, then Steve Grissom and Jimmy Hensley, number 3-point man. Darrell Waltrip has our in-car camera today. He's with Tom Peck in row 7. Bobby Labonte, the point leader, with Jeff Gordon, the rookie, in row 8. Troy Beebe in the 9th row with Tracy Leslie. Ed Barrier in row 10. Joe Nemechek, last year's Rookie of the Year. Mike Wallace in the 11th row, the middle brother. Terry Labonte, Ward Burton, and Tommy Houston in row 12. Ed Faree from Pennsylvania, Jeff Burton in the 13th row. Butch Miller out of Michigan. Dave Rezendes from Massachusetts. There's Harry Gant back in the 15th row with Davey Allison. Cecil Eunice in row 16 with New York State's Mike McLaughlin. Bobby Dotter and Richard Lassiter, another rookie contender, will round out the field. Now, a quick correction on those Charlotte results. Todd Bodine led that race, failed to finish. It was Dick Trickle coming home second and Harry Gant 3rd behind Dale Earnhardt. So they're rolling off for 200 miles. And Phil Parsons, we talked at the top of the show about the heat. It is certainly nowhere near yesterday, but it's going to be warm in those cars.
Well, it really is, Mike. I think this will probably be that warmest race that the Busch cars have run thus far this year. So, you know, a lot of the guys, it takes a few races to get in shape for the heat. So since this, I think, is the hottest one this early, we may see some problems for some of them.
Defending champion of this race, Mike Waltrip, will sit this one out today. His Pennzoil Pontiac has the pole for tomorrow's Budweiser 500, which, of course, you'll see live in its entirety right here on TNN. Harry Gant finished second here last year. Bobby Labonte, Tom Peck, and Ronald Cooper were the top 5. We'll be riding along with Darrell Waltrip today. There's a look at the gauge, and it shows 105 in that cockpit. Buddy, a little cooler up here.
Oh, it certainly is, but I'll tell you one thing. They have several wars going on today. One of just being physically a demanding racetrack. Also, there's a little tire war here. You have Hoosier on the pole and Goodyear, you know, a very good tire here. It's going to be real exciting. The pole cars on Hoosier and a bunch of good race cars on Goodyear, so it's going to be exciting.
As we saw inside Darrell Waltrip's car, he has that full face helmet. He has the long gauntlet gloves, and he just reached out there just to get a little bit of air flowing in through the cockpit, encapsulated there in his Butler-built seat. And how much air do you really get when you're wrapped up like that? We'll check in a minute. Here's Steve Evans.
NASCAR here will enforce a 40-mile-per-hour speed limit on pit road, unlike the 55 at the bigger track in Charlotte last weekend. Now, these cars don't have a speedometer, so on about the second pace lap, the pace car will bring them down pit road so they can indicate by their speedometers exactly what 40 miles per hour is. Now, under Busch rules, you're allowed to change 2 tires under yellow, 4 tires under green. Now, if this were a perfect world and this race ran all 200 laps green, some teams could make it with 1 stop. Most could not. But let's face it, this is the monster mile. It's hot, it's greasy, it's gooey. There'll be enough yellows for probably most teams to run through the entire arsenal of tires. All right, back up topside to the 3 amigos of motorsports.
Oh, boy. Throw my sombrero into that ring. Pass the pitcher. Were these cars their street-going counterparts, they could use their speedometers to gauge that 40-mile-an-hour speed, but Buddy, here they do it with a different method.
Well, what you do, you pull it back in the 2nd gear and come down the pit road behind the pace car, and you look at the tachometer to see what it's turning, and that gives you the speed that you have to run under the yellow flag here.
And Darrell looks like he's just at about 4,400 RPM, 4,500. Now they sweep back up into the banking, and they'll form up for the start. 24-degree bank, new sealer on the race surface. The bottom group pretty well run in practice this week. A day and a half of it for the Winston Cup cars and these Busch Grand National machines, but not much up there on top.
Well, you just said the key right there. The bottom groove is very good. The upper groove is not very good. And when you are lapping race cars, you have to go to the top groove, and that's going to be exciting.
Joe George is the honorary starter. He has the green flag in hand. Mike Harwood up on the flag stand today.
Going green this time, Mike. The lights were off the safety car, so he'll be ducking down pit road, and should get a start this time by.
The Oldsmobile pace car comes to the pit lane, and Dave Mader leads them down to Joe George's green flag. Mader and Ernie Irvan roll off into turn number 1, and they stay 2 by 2, well back through the field. Ernie's not going to give it up without a fight, and now Mader busts out and loses it just a bit there in turn 2.
Well, that could have been a real mess. If he'd have lost that car, he'd have had 34 cars behind him.
It was a quick toss and catch it for Mader. Dave Mader with the race lead. Ernie Irvin in second. That's David Green coming up from the 3rd spot. Dale Jarrett started 5th, running 4th. And Kenny Wallace caught on the outside as one car, Chuck Bound, scoots up the racetrack high. There's Tommy Houston being overhauled.
These guys are really being tentative on the top of the racetrack. Here comes Davey Allison from a bad starting position. He looks like he's really going good. Terry Labonte's caught on the outside, slowing way down.
Labonte well off the pace in that blue car top of your screen. The Sunoco car rented from his younger brother for today's race. Up front, it's Mader, Irvin,
Robert Presley.
And Presley's moving into the 3rd spot. David Green dropping back to 5th behind Dale Jarrett. 6th is Morgan Shepherd as they round into turn number 3. 3 of 200 laps complete this time by. Dave Mader, class of the field. Ernie Irvin runs 2nd, and they're beginning to distance themselves from Robert Presley, Dale Jarrett, and David Green. More from Dover Downs after these messages.
In America, your car doesn't just get you from here to there. It's a part of your life. To give your car complete protection, Texaco is introducing new Haviland Formula 3 motor oil with not 1 but 3 kinds of protection against heat stress, starting friction, and engine dirt. New Haviland Formula 3. Add more life to your car.
If only your tires could talk.
It's so tiring. He babies the car, then abuses me with messy vinyl cleaner. Hey, I'm rubber. No-touch tire care. Ooh, nice foam.
Introducing No Touch Tire Care, the first product to clean, shine, and protect tires in one easy step. No scrubbing, no dirty rags, no mess.
Yeah, clean and shiny. Oh, no, bad doggy. Go away.
Treat your tires right with new No Touch Tire Care.
Chocolate is sweetest when it crunches. That's why I love Nestle Crunch. That's why I love Nestle Crunch Crunches.
People today are busier than ever. Do you ever think to ask Ace by phone? Yeah, call your helpful hardware folks ahead of time. They'll tell you what they need to know to be ready when you come in. Might save you an extra trip, or at least make one a quick one.
End of the line, John.
Ask Ace by phone.
Catch 90 minutes of racing excitement from start to finish on the American Sports Cavalcade. The American Sports Cavalcade. 7 Eastern Sports Sundays on TNN.
8 laps complete in the Budweiser 200 at Dover, Delaware. Dave Mader up front. David Green at 6 laps with the 2nd place car. Now Ernie Irvin has moved up to challenge race leader Dave Mader as they roll off into turn number 1. And trouble in the back straightaway. One car grenades going down the backstretch, and they'll run to the yellow.
Looks like Mike McLaughlin in the 64 car. Yeah, that's who it is.
Oh, what a shame. He has been star-crossed. They've torn up a couple of cars this year for the Mike and Harry Grieche team. Picked up a ride for this race. And he'll be the first car out today. McLaughlin, he can go on one of his sponsors' products there. Sunberg both spend the rest of the day. It's going to be a short one as he's behind the wall with the hood up. Terry Labonte made a pit stop for right side tires while we were away with his Oldsmobile. So first caution of the day comes out of lap number 10. Mike McLaughlin going behind the wall with the hood up on his number 64. And Irvin took the battle back to the start-finish line, so Ernie Irvin will be leading Dave Mader on the restart with Dale Jarrett up to the 3rd spot. Buddy, you've been watching Ernie closely these first few laps?
Yeah, he's handling extremely well, especially getting into the corner, and Dave Mater's car looked like it was getting a little bit loose. As a matter of fact, he's coming in the pits. Are they moving him back in the lead? Oh, they moved him back. I guess Ernie didn't get by him before they got to the flag, but it won't be but just a few more laps before the 10's ahead of him because he's real loose getting off the corner.
We had a look from Darrell Waltrip's car. Waltrip back about midfield. 9th spot for Darrell. Started 13th. And this should be a fairly brief caution flag. The first Busch Grand National race here was held in 1982. It was the late model 200 Dave Dion from up Vermont Way in the Stewart & Sons Ford. Won it over Dick McCabe, Jean-Paul Cabana, and Randy LaJoie. It was a NASCAR North Tour race back in 1982. And as we're under this first caution of the day, Brock Yates is on pit road. Brock?
It's Mike. I'm with Mike McLaughlin, who fell out very early in the going. Mike, we've seen you run so well in the asphalt modifieds. Today, not so good.
Well, it was a short day for us, but the boys have worked hard, and I'm just wish we'd run a little bit longer, but Dennis Shoemaker...
Lots of smoke out of the engine. Did you blow something that got you sideways?
Something let go and a lot of smoke. I really don't know what happened, but short day.
Short day, bad day. Sorry, Mike. Back to you, Mike Joy.
12 laps on the board. Dave Mater behind the safety car, and 1 to go this time. Mater the leader. Irvin is second. Jarrett third. David Green is fourth. Robert Presley fifth. Morgan Shepherd is sixth. Todd Bodine in the 7th spot. Back in 8th is Steve Grissom. Waltrip is 9th. Darrell and Kenny Wallace holds the 10th spot ahead of Jimmy Hensley, Tom Peck, Elton Sawyer, and Bobby Labonte.
You know one thing, I've really been impressed with Todd Bodine lately. He's really in the fight every week. In Charlotte, he ran like he'd been there many more times than what he has been. And here, he's running a very good race, and he don't get himself in bad spots in the corner. He just looks like he's doing a great job to me.
Had a good finish on our first TNN telecast at Rockingham. Had a great run and led at Charlotte. Really coming on and having some good fortune here. Here's a look at Harry Gant. The Bandit is back in 27th spot. He started 29th and only picked up 2 positions. So start of what could be a long day for Harry Gant. Davey Allison running in the 21st position. And Davey started this race well back in the field in 30th. So he's picked up 9 spots as we go back under green. Morgan Shepherd, that's Todd Bodine, the white car, way on the inside, and he squeezes up and grabs a couple of spots. Meanwhile, Irvin goes headhunting, and when Dave Mater gets up on the outside, it is goodbye and good luck, isn't it?
Well, it's not only Dave Mater. Anybody that gets in that upper groove right now, their history on that particular lap.
That's what just happened to Morgan Shepherd as he goes backsliding through the field. Darrell Waltrip working underneath him. There are those cars at the top of your screen. 14 laps are complete here at Dover, Delaware. We're back under green. Ernie Irvin, the new leader, and Dale Jarrett is right there with him. Dave Mater holds on to the 3rd spot. David Green is 4th, and Robert Presley 5th. We'll have more from Dover Downs right after this.
Let the good times roll when Trucks and Tractor Power roars in search of the biggest, baddest Pullman and Townsend across the USA. Truckin' USA at 9:30, Trucks and Tractor Power at 10, only on TNN Sports Sunday.
At Dover Downs, Delaware, second caution of the day has come out at lap number 17. Mike Wallace, the middle of the Racing Brothers from Missouri, let go an engine down in turn number 1 just a lap ago, running right in the middle of the field. There are the clouds of smoke as Dave Resendiz sneaks by underneath. Everybody out of harm's way in that one, and Wallace did a nice job of controlling the car despite all that fluid coming out from underneath. So Mike Wallace coasts in, and we'll go pit side with Brock Yates.
Mike, I'm with one of the greats, Red Farmer, the crew chief on Dolly Allison's car, and everybody's all smiles down here in the number 28 pit. 19th place, started 30th. What's he telling you on the radio?
Well, he said the car's just a little bit loose off the corner. Nothing to worry about. We're going to put one around the wedge in it on the pit stop, but he said the car feels good. It felt real good in practice this morning. It was running about a half a second faster than we qualified. We messed up qualifying and qualified on sticker tires. We should have had some scuffs. But he said the car's working good, so we're real happy with it. He's going towards the front.
I believe that. Good luck, Rhett.
Thank you.
Okay, Mike.
Look at Davey Allison running in the 19th position. And Davey started way back in the field in 30th spot, so he's picked up 11. Two retirees, Mike McLaughlin and Mike Wallace, out of the race, both with engine trouble, as we're 20 laps in to the Budweiser 200. Phil, a couple of blown engines early on. Is that indicative of what we'll see today, or chance occurrence?
Well, I really don't think it should be, Mike, because, you know, we have the similar weather conditions to when the cars practiced and qualified yesterday. They also practiced some this morning, so they really should have a handle on what kind of carburation they need, what kind of ignition timing. So I think it's just really a coincidence.
20 laps down, and second caution of the day. A lot of rookie drivers, 8 rookie contenders sprinkled through this field. We got comments from some of them about this racing series.
Michigander Tracy Leslie is a father of 3 with 15 years racing experience and some impressive credentials already. He comes into the Busch Tour as the 1988 ARCA Series champion. He's a winner.
I hope that one day that with running the Busch Grand National Series and running in conjunction with all the Winston Cup, that's my hope, is to run the Winston Cup schedule. And with running the Busch Grand National Series and running for Rookie of the Year, we're running most of the tracks that Winston Cup runs at, and that's what my goal is.
California bachelor Troy Beebe put a reverse twist on Horace Greeley's line, "Go West, young man." He has come south and east to establish himself as a professional race car driver after 5 years on the West Coast.
I'm from Modesto, California, same hometown Ernie Irvin's from. It's my only claim to fame right now. I'm here running the Busch Grand National Series, trying to make a career move, run good, work my way into these East Coast tracks and get some Speedway experience and run the best I can here on the Busch Series.
Although a rookie, David Green started making headlines early. He won the Busch pole position at Daytona this year and became the first rookie to win a Busch Series race at Gainesville, Georgia. He comes in with his eyes wide open.
I love this series because I'm able to race as a hobby plus a profession and get paid for it, of course. And then also I believe this series is just as tough, if not tougher, than Winston Cup. So it's an honor to drive against 40 of the greatest drivers there is without being with Richard Petty and them guys.
If former desert racer Rick Mears can become a 4-time Indy champion, Richard Lasseter is hoping a guy who raced dirt quad 4s, well, maybe can succeed on the Busch Tour. And his motivation to join it, a bit different than anybody else we talked to.
Quite frankly, I started racing because I was always burning up the highways all over the United States, and it was costing me too much money paying tickets, so I decided to put that money to good use and drive a race car.
And his prize money will go to good use, paying his car insurance.
Richard Lasseter, one of the Busch rookie contender. While they clean up here, we'll get ready to go back to green flag racing, and we'll have it for you live on TNN when we return to Dover Downs, Delaware, and the Budweiser 200. Stay with us. Back under green at Dover Downs, Delaware, coming around to complete 25 of 200 laps. Ernie Irvin has a car length on Dale Jarrett. First to second, David Green is third. Pole sitter Dave Mater is fourth. Robert Presley and Todd Bodine. As they work to turn 1, everybody working hard on that low groove. Steve Grissom being pursued by Dick, and that's for 7th spot. This looks like Noah's Ark. Everybody's 2x2x2 out there. Both individual battles going on as Ed Ferree drops to the bottom of the racetrack in turn number 3. And the Pennsylvania driver will head to pit road. Riding along with Darrell. Hard to imagine sitting home how those cars really bounce around a bit out there.
Yeah, that in-car camera showed you that even the dash in the car was shaking from the bumps in the racetrack.
Here's Ferree, and the rear end is on fire on his car. Going to have a tough time changing that right rear with the flames. A little work with the extinguisher before they'll be able to get that service completed. There you see it up in turn number 2. What could that be?
Boy, either a brake locked up or something caught the thing on fire, or blew a hub seal, rear hub seal, and it got grease on the brake and caught on fire. Here we're back with the leader, Ernie Irvin, and Dale Jarrett running second. Well, what do you do if you're Dale Jarrett and it's only 28 laps into this thing, buddy? Do you go for it or do you hang with it?
I think he's going to wait for the Ernie Irvin car to make a mistake, because right now it looks like Dale's a little bit faster, but it's a one-groove racetrack at the moment until they move the groove up a little bit. He just can't make a pass unless Ernie makes a mistake.
And if he looks in his mirror, he'll find Robert Presley closing in, or David Green, rather. David Green and Dave Mader. That duo closing right up on the front two. Then Presley's in the fifth spot. Meanwhile, there's Waltrip still running right with Steve Grissom. That's still a battle for seventh. They have caught the sixth-place car. You see the white car in the picture is Todd Bodine, and just ahead of him, that black machine is Robert Presley. It's a good battle right there, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Front straightaway, you see the tilt. Banked along the straightaway as well as the corners, and they run right down on that line. Back straightaway, covered grandstand there. They use for the horse races, and they'll use tomorrow for the 500. That's the front stretch of the horse track, the back stretch of the stock car track.
I tell you, we ought to have the camera on Davey Allison. He's picking them off left and right. He is really on the move right now, and the car seems to be handling extremely well.
Not exactly sneaking his way up through the field. Riding here with the leaders, Ernie Irvin, Dale Jarrett, just a car length apart. Chevrolet and Pontiac. And right with them, there's David Green. He's been a very impressive rookie this season. Right out of the box, great run at Daytona in qualifying, had some good race runs as well.
He really has, Mike. You know, he won the race at Lanier, Georgia, and I think he finished second in the race at Bristol, which was, I think, the week after the race at Lanier. So he's done really well.
One driver who's not is Dave Mader. Mader's falling back, and so too is Morgan Shepherd. Here's Brock Yates.
Mike, I'm with Freddie Pryor with a crew chief on Dave Mader's car, and he's falling back to fourth. Are you concerned, or is the race car, you just backing it up a little bit?
Well, the car was getting a little loose with him, but he said it's tightened up since the restart. And what happened, he missed third gear on the restart, so that's what we got behind.
We're going to sit there for a while, try to work his way back up front, huh?
Right, he's just kind of biding his time now, letting some laps go by.
All right, there you heard it from Freddie. Missed the gear shift and he fell back a little bit, but I'm sure Dave will be back up among them all real soon. Mike?
You're about to hear it from Dale Jarrett. You see the smoke coming out of the right tailpipe of his Nestle's Crunch Pontiac. He will come pit side instead of going to the garage, and brother Glenn Jarrett is right there.
Okay, Dale Jarrett has brought the 32 Nestle's Crunch Pontiac into the pits. There's a lot of smoke coming from the engine. He is unbuckling, taking his helmet glasses off. I think that's going to be it for the rest of the day for that 32 car. Very disappointing. The car was very, very strong early on in the race. He told crew chief John Irvin he felt like he could pass leader Ernie Irvin when he got the right time. He wasn't going to force it, but looks like the right time's not going to come today.
Well, we'll have a word with Dale Jarrett in a moment as he climbs out of that car. And let's have a look at it. Down the backstretch, it just looked like things came unglued, running in a tight pack of cars. In second place, David Green making evasive action.
I tell you, he's had a terrible time for the past 2 weeks. I don't know how many motors he lost in Charlotte, but somewhere around 3 or 4 motors there, and then to have this happen today, I know he's getting a little disappointed.
So they'll push Jarrett's car away. Let's see if we'll be at Glenn in a moment as he gets a word with younger brother.
From my understanding, Mike, it's not a common problem. It was several different things that happened. Let's go down to Glenn Jarrett, who's with Dale Jarrett.
Well, guys, I'm standing here with an interview I was hoping I wouldn't have to make. This is my younger brother, Dale. Awfully strong run early. What happened?
Something happened in the motor once again. I tell you, the last 2 weeks have been a nightmare for us with the Nestle's Crunch Pontiac with motors. We've got a great engine builder in Ron Hunter, but things just keep happening. That's 3 in the last 2 weeks. Car was awfully good. Just in there kind of riding behind Ernie, waiting on the end of the race. Didn't make it there.
Well, this is 2 weeks in a row he's had the fastest car and hadn't been around at the finish. Wasn't even around at the start last week. Better luck next time.
Well, thank you. Appreciate it.
Davey Allison getting past Chuck Bown as we complete 39 laps. 12th place for Davey Allison. He started 30th. He's had a great run toward the front after what he explained at the top of the show was a mess up in qualifying.
I'll tell you what, this number 8 car of Green is really making a run on Ernie now. He seems to be quite a bit faster than he is in the center part of the corner. You'll notice he really eats him up. So it's going to be exciting here in just a few seconds.
Meanwhile, Davey Allison scoots away from Chuck Bown, Joe Nemechek, and Tommy Houston. Now we're up with the leaders. The black car is David Green. Do you expect he'd be as patient as Dale Jarrett was?
No, I can tell you right now, I just seen him pass the car on the outside coming off the corner, so he's not quite as patient as Jarrett was.
So we're 40 laps into the 200 here at Dover Downs. Bernie Irvin up front, David Green in second, Dave Mader third, dropping back just a bit there. Robert Presley posted his fourth, and Todd Bodine, the 5th place car. Steve Grissom ahead of Darrell Waltrip. That battle continues. Now it's for 6th instead of 7th spot. Kenny Wallace right there, Jimmy Hensley, and Tom Peck rounds out the top 10. So with Irvin leading Green and the rest of this Busch Grand National field, 43 of 200 laps complete. We'll be back to Dover Downs, Delaware, right after this.
This summer, you can win one of 50,000 prizes worth over $1 million by finding one man.
I'm back, and this time I brought friends.
Haven't I seen you somewhere before? You know, you look very familiar.
Nice suits here. Find a Budman certificate inside packages of Budweiser, Bud Light, and Bud Dry Draft to win.
Nothing beats a Bud Man!
If you've ever had fresh vegetables right out of Norma Boaz's garden in Pilot Mountain, North Carolina, then you already know a lot about the Cracker Barrel. The finest ingredients cooked up to authentic country recipes with the same pride that goes into everything Miss Norma puts up. When you're traveling along the interstates of this land, you might look for this sign. You'll enjoy the same kind of cooking this great country's been enjoying for over 150 years.
Mom, it itches. Lanacane will stop it fast.
Lanacane will. Lanacane shuts off the itch like a switch, fast. Only Lanacane cream works on contact with the itch nerves that cause every itch. Benadryl can't. Cordaid can't. Hydrocortisones can't. But Lanacane will. So for the fastest relief of every itch, get Lanacane.
See? Lanacane shuts off the itch. Like a switch. Fast.
TNN Motorsports live coverage of the Budweiser 200 is brought to you by the more than 550 AutoZone stores across America. AutoZone, the right parts at the right price. 46 laps complete. Ernie Irvin ahead of David Green. Elton Sawyer's made a pit stop, and Tommy Houston cracks the wall in turn 1. Caution is out. There are the remains of Houston's car, and he just sailed off and up into the wall in the first corner.
Maybe that's a hard wall, too. I feel for him. I tell you, I've backed into that wall the same way before, and I tell you, it does not give.
Our initial report, Mike, was that something happened to the right rear tire. He had a right rear tire problem going in the corner that just turned the car around.
Once you get down in that corner, those right side tires take such a loading, there's just no way. Can't be any way to save a car like that.
I can see that he's okay. You can see him inside the car, and I've seen him just hit the steering wheel with his fist.
So he's already off the wall in this angle from turn 1.
Yeah, well, once he got up there backwards, this is all. I'm just glad to see everybody was able to avoid him and not pile in on him.
Piece of debris off the car, settling down, and there from another angle. He has crunched it pretty good.
I saw Tommy trying to fire the car back up to see if he could get the thing cranked up, but now we got the leader in the pits.
Ernie Irvin on pit road. So too Robert Presley, Steve Grissom, Darrell Waltrip, Davey Allison, Chuck Bown. Also in Troy Beebe, Dave Resendiz, and Harry Gant. Tracy Leslie all coming on pit road. Morgan Shepherd badly needed a pit stop. He dropped back. There's Irvin going out. They can change 2 tires on each caution flag pit stop. Those are the rules in Busch Grand National Racing. As you watch Tracy Leslie's car get serviced. Irvin coming down pit road, and Presley right behind him. Service complete on most of the front runners. Ward Burton also making a stop under this caution flag. This is the third caution of the day at lap 47 for Tommy Houston in the wall in turn 1.
Cars took right side tires on, Mike, but the leader, Irvin, only didn't take any tires. They just looked at the tires, put some fuel in it, and sent them back out.
He wanted that track position, I'll guarantee you on that.
Well, he's still going to be well back in the running order because many of the cars in the lead lap, including second place David Green, did not pit.
I think because the racetrack has only the low groove right now, that's great, you know, that he got out ahead of the people that stopped with him. I think that's going to be important near the end.
So we're under caution. David Green leading from Dave Mader. Todd Bodine now third under caution. Kenny Wallace fourth, and Jimmy Hensley fifth. We've met 4 of our Busch Series rookie contenders. Now, Steve Evans takes us for a look at some more of the men who are challenging this series for the first year in 1991.
They say it's easier to go from dirt to asphalt than the other way around. Georgia rookie Cecil Eunice certainly hopes that's true. And if there's one guy who ought to be comfortable in a loose-handling automobile, it's Eunice, who loves to put them sideways.
We'd run dirt for about 10 or 12 years, and I'd done about all I could do where I was racing around home there. And then, you know, Carol Levin come along and wanted to run a little asphalt. So, you know, this is something that I'd always wanted to do. So here we are. We're just running with the Busch.
If you're like me and measure business success by whether or not you have a Learjet in your garage, then Ed Paris certainly qualifies. And he's taking a very business-like approach to his rookie season on the Busch Grand National Tour. Meet Ed Paris.
Well, you know, I've been racing probably since I was about 16 years old, or maybe a little before that. I've also been in business for the past 20-some-odd years. And I really believe the competition in racing, which I really enjoy, runs over into the business aspect, and I really enjoy the competition of business, too.
The next driver in our rookie parade needs no introduction to dirt track fans. He is Jeff Gordon from Indiana. He is a 14-year veteran, and he's only 19 years of age. You're about to find out how all of that happened to a man with a tremendous future.
Basically, you know, I don't know any different. I've been racing ever since I was 5 years old. Basically started racing quarter midgets just for fun, just as a hobby. And it got to be really competitive and serious racing. And I've been racing just about every weekend ever since I was 5. And I just don't really know anything else.
While his older brother, Rusty, was becoming a Winston Cup superstar, and his younger brother, Kenny, was establishing himself on the Busch Tour, Mike Wallace raced close to home, founded a successful business, and is now ready to take on the world. Number 18, Mike Wallace.
Well, the biggest thing, you know, the NASCAR division, or Busch Grand National Series, leads you into the Winston Cup racing, but I ran the NASCAR Mid-America Racing Series last year through the Missouri area and won the Mid-America region, and we won 21 out of 29 races last year. We're looking to, you know, we want a new challenge.
2 successful brothers out of one family, not that unusual. 3, absolutely amazing.
Thank you, Steve. One of those rookie drivers is leading this race. David Green out of Owensboro, Kentucky. Dave Mader, Todd Bodine, Kenny Wallace, and Jimmy Hensley, none of whom pitted under this caution. Jeff Burton is on pit road with the hood up on his Armor Foods Chevy. And Davey Allison made a second pit stop, this one for right side tires. Here's Glenn Jarrett.
Well, you're looking at Kip McCord. Kip is a many-time veteran of these Busch Grand National Wars. He's been with a lot of teams. Right now, he's with the best team here, the car number 8, David Green. Kip, how does David say the car feels right now?
The TIC Oldsmobile is really working good right now. The Goodyear tires seem to be working for us real good. We got the car real free right now. So we're going to try to pace him a little bit, hopefully build up a little lead, and then maybe we can plan a little strategy a little closer to halfway point.
It looked like maybe that when Ernie Irvin was leading, that he might have been holding David up just a little bit.
Yeah, David said he felt like he was holding up just a tad right in the middle of the corner, so I think we're in good shape.
These guys are awfully confident. They got real confident looks on their face.
Well, when we come back, I want to poll our reporters about this strategy of stopping at only 50 laps and see if the cars that did can go the distance. We'll check into that when we return to Dover Downs after these messages.
The time has come for the cordless power roller from Wagner. It's Formula 3.
At Dover Downs, we're getting set to go back under green. Jimmy Hensley just making a late pit stop. Let's see if some of these drivers can go the distance. Glenn Jarrett?
Well, personally, I don't think that there's like 147 laps to go, 147 miles to go. I don't think they can make it the rest of the way. Some of them might try it, but that's pushing it awfully, awfully far. David Green didn't even come in, so he's got to stop. Steve?
Well, I would say if someone goes all the way from this point without fuel, NASCAR will have the fuel cell out of that car for inspection in about a New York check. And I don't see any way anybody can do that. How about you, Brock Yates?
I agree, Steve. I've done a little gallop poll down at this end of the pits, and all the crew chiefs say, no, we aren't going to try it. We got one more stop.
David Green falling way back in the field. He got way up high in turn number 1, but it looks like, gosh, has he found high gear yet? No, the car is way up in turn 3 and way off the pace. Kip McCord and crew are ready for Green on pit road, but he could not get down below in order to get in the pit lane.
It looked like he must have had a flat tire, Mike. The way he went in the corner, thing just took off to the right. It looked like a right front tire was flat.
Also drifting back, Richard Lassiter, the rookie contender. That'll put Dave Mader back in front. Because now Green will come around to pit lane. Let's take another look at the restart. See if we get a better fix on what happened here as David Green makes his way to pit road.
This is going to be very costly for him. Here we have a replay. He went into turn 1 and the car just went straight.
So there's Green way up on the top of the racetrack. Missed the wall, but now he's on pit road. Glenn Jarrett?
Right. The car number 8 of David Green is in the pits. They had a right side tire that had gone down. Looks like it's the right front. A real bad break. That car was working awfully well. They're still having a problem. We can't see from this vantage point. Look at the problem with the right front lug nut, but he's out in the way again. It definitely was a right front tire that was cut down. Must have been some debris on the track after that restart. Real tough break for these guys.
So Green is back on the racetrack as we watch this battle between Todd Bodine and Kenny Wallace. Two of the gamblers, two of the guys that did not stop under caution.
I tell you, I talked to several people this morning, Mike, and they thought Kenny Wallace had the best car here in the morning practice. They thought he was the fastest car here.
Buddy, you've been keeping a close eye on Todd Bodine.
Well, I'm going to tell you right now, Phil is exactly right. The 36 car is just, it couldn't handle any better, and it's just a matter of time now. He's moving up every lap just about, and I don't believe that Todd can hold him off. It looks like it. Mr. Wallace has it well in hand.
They are the second and third place cars behind leader Dave Mader. A little further back, Troy Beebe there just ahead of Darrell Waltrip. And we'll look out the back of the Western Auto car, and right there you'll find Harry Gant. Behind them, Davey Allison. Good tight pack there in turn 1. Now, will we see, as Morgan Shepherd comes very slowly down the front straightaway, will we see the Winston guys hook up like they did at Charlotte and try to run these young kids down?
I tell you, I'm not watching much of the Western Cup drivers. This Bobby Labonte's car looks like it come out of a cannon all of a sudden. He's getting through the corners so much faster than Todd Bodine, and you just watch. He'll be right up in the front just a few laps now.
Bobby's just ahead of the pack we're watching. Labonte in 5th position.
Looks like Darrell Waltrip's holding up Harry again. Harry's ducked to the inside several times. I believe if Harry could get by Darrell, I believe he'd march on towards the front.
Neither one able to pass Troy Beebe. That Taco Bell car. And just in front of Beebe, the number 19, that'll be Cecil Eunice out of Georgia.
Ernie Irvin has moved right back into contention again. I guess he's 6th on the grid right now, and he's just running really well.
So he'd be the highest placed of the drivers that made pit stops under the caution flag. Let's show you where your favorite driver is running with the Wagner Field standings, brought to you by Wagner. Power painting that's not just a whole lot faster, but a whole lot better. Morgan Shepherd has come to pit road after running around slowly for a few laps as we continue.
to watch this battle that involves Troy Beebe, Darrell Waltrip, and Harry Gant. And trouble on the leader. Dave Mader is coming to pit road.
Okay, I see Morgan Shepherd has a severe flat tire. If there's no such thing as just barely flat, but this thing, the whole sidewalls eat out of it. And I think he was on Hoosier Tires today, if I'm not mistaken.
Mader has more problems than that. The hood is up, and I think there's our new leader right there, Mike, the 36 car of Kenny Wallace. The work continues on the Mader car. Kenny Wallace becomes the leader with Todd Bodine second and Bobby Dotter now third. The 3 cars on your screen.
Bobby Labonte, you mean?
Thank you, Bobby Labonte.
Mike Dave Mader is out of the race. I just talked to Freddie Pryor's crew chief. They think they burned a piston. You're going to see Dave unleash his belt and climb out of the race car. Very disappointed young man. Shirley Drew is buttoning the hood back up, but it's over for Dave Mader today.
Boy, tough break for Mader. Fellows that have been up front here, Mader, Jarrett, have ended up out of the race early. We are 66 laps in to the Budweiser 200 as you ride along with Darrell Waltrip and Western Auto Chevrolet. Kenny Wallace leading. Todd Bodine has forged his way into the lead. Bobby Labonte and Kenny Wallace are going at it for second.
Yeah, that's a little chrome horn work there. They put the bumper to him that time.
So Wallace gets drop kicked all the way back to third. So much for being class of the field. It's ironic, you know, 10 laps ago we thought that he was a lot better than Todd Bodine. But then Todd Bodine pulls up, gets behind him, and passes him. I'll tell you, the youngest of 3 racing brothers, Todd, has shown an awful lot of maturity at knowing when to run his car hard and when to ride. But he is up front in that Frank Cece car. You notice bereft of sponsorship. Looking for a sponsor for that car, and the way they have run this season, they deserve one.
Well, I guarantee you, I'm impressed with Jeff Gordon right now. You know, he's moving up quite well now, and I guess Ernie Irvin's the only car that's passed him since the caution flag, and he seems to be handling that pretty well.
You know, Todd Bodine ran well here in the second race last year, the fall race there. He finished third in the Highline car that Mike Wallace is driving now. There's a look at your top 5 with Bodine up front, Bobby Labonte and Kenny Wallace. Then the first of the Cuppers in this race, Ernie Irvin. And Tom Peck always runs well here at Dover. He's up in the 5th spot. He also did not make a pit stop. And Jeff Gordon, Buddy Baker was talking about in that Ford, the 19-year-old rides in 6th, right behind Tom Peck. 72 laps complete as they work the Monster Mile here at Dover, Delaware. Here's Brock Yates.
Mike, I'm with Ernie Irvin's crew right now. You can see that they're pretty cool. They feel very confident about the way the race car is working. As I told you earlier, they plan on another stop, but I don't think we've seen the last of number 10 up there, you guys.
Well, I'd like to add something. We're all watching Ernie run quite well, but just set the standards. So when they have a caution from now on, you can bet those lead cars will stop and get tires. He's a car that took on tires, and he's quite a bit faster now coming up through the field.
Well, are we agreed that none of these cars that stopped around lap 50 are going to be able to make the distance? I don't think they can. I don't think they can run 150 miles on this 1-mile racetrack. Buddy?
I'm trying to keep up with everything and watch Jeff Gordon right now. He's moved right in on Pack right now, and I tell you, that car is one of the fastest cars on Speedway.
Neither of those cars stopped under the caution, nor did Kenny Wallace. That's the black car left side of your screen running in 3rd. Ernie Irvin in 4th, and 5th up for grabs. There's Jeff Gordon, and he has gotten around Tom Peck. So good job by the rookie driver out of Indiana. What a schedule he had last week. Competed at Charlotte, went back and forth between qualifying and the race to run sprint cars, and then Saturday night won the night before the 500 event out of Indianapolis. The yellow car, Ernie Irvin, the Mac Tool Chevrolet getting underneath Kenny Wallace, and that'll pick Irvin up just a bit. And Buddy, one of your old adversaries sneaking up into the top 10.
Yeah, I was just laughing. Before the race started today, Harry Gant told me he had terrible motor problems, and he's probably going to park the car, and I noticed he's already up to 10th.
Not the best predictor of his own fortunes.
Of course, all of us know not to ever believe anything Harry Gant says, Mike.
Until victory lane. Todd Bodine is that 34 car, the Frank C.C. Buick. C.C. owned modified cars, sponsored modified cars for Jimmy Spencer when Jimmy won the national championship. He and Spencer went Busch Grand National Series racing. And after Spencer moved up to Winston Cup, there's Morgan Shepherd coasting along, the black car. CC went through a couple of drivers, settled on Todd Bodine, and they have been running well. So Shepherd had been running slowly near the bottom of the racetrack, and it looks like this time the Texas Pete car will come back to pit road. First and second place, Bobby Labonte in pursuit of Todd Bodine.
Well, it looks to me like Bobby Labonte is quite a bit faster through 3 and 4 than Bodine's car. Through 1 and 2, they pretty much run the same, but he really gains up in 3 and 4.
Watching him out of 4 and back to the front straightaway. You see Bobby closing it up by yet another car length. Another 3 laps, he should be right there.
If I'm not mistaken, Mike, I think Bobby Labonte did pit in that first caution play.
We will double check that. 80 laps complete of the 200. They'll run it over today. There's Kenny Wallace and Jeff Gordon closing in on Kenny Wallace, who is now the 4th place car. Morgan Shepherd makes the turn to the garage area. Here's Steve Evans.
All right, I am in the Kenny Wallace with 36 pits. And 30, he slowed up a bit. Is he running out of tires?
Yeah, we're a little loose right now, but we're going to try to make it about halfway. We only have to make 1 stop. We have to wait and see what happens here. It's still a long way here at Dover.
Sounds like a good strategy to me. Hope it works for you.
Yeah, it's been pretty good here now, you know. We just run out of tires right now. We just have to wait and see what happens.
The last thing Kenny Wallace wants is for Bobby Labonte to finish in front and gain a few more points.
That is crew chief Steve Bird for Kenny Wallace, well known to much of this crowd as he's from New Hampshire. Grew up in modified racing with Pete Fiandaca, the boys that ran out of Pittsburgh, Mass. Up front, Todd Bodine, and Bobby Labonte continues to close in that Penrose car, number 44. Right up within a car length of the leader. 83 laps down. Kenny Wallace and Jeff Gordon running very tight together. Back at 4th and 5th spot. No closer than the battle for the lead, however. There's Ernie Irvin. He's the 3rd place car, kind of running by himself on the racetrack, within sight of the leaders, but also within sight of 4th and 5th spot behind him.
He really hasn't gained much on the leaders in the last 4 or 5 laps. Once he got by the 3rd place car and got up in 3rd, he really hasn't gained that much more on the leaders.
Todd Bodine sweeping underneath the Armor Meats car of Jeff Burton. Still with Bobby Labonte in tow. Now Morgan Shepherd climbs out of the Texas Pete car and declines comment. Short day, but he'll have a long one tomorrow when TNN brings you the Budweiser 500. 85 laps down, Todd Bodine and Bobby Labonte keeps trying to make a run at him and draws ever closer. 115 laps left to go on the Monster Mile. Our coverage continues right after this word.
Chocolate is scrumptious when it crunches. That's why I love Nestle Crunch. Gotta have it. It's so scrumptious. Love that chocolate when it crunches. Scrumptious. Chocolate is scrumptious when it crunches. That's why I love Nestle Crunch. Scrumptious.
There's only one you've got to come to. Opryland, USA. It's one of a kind, no place you'll find more fun the country way. Dancing and singing, playing and swinging in the warm country sun. You'll see the flash, you'll spin, you'll splash, doing more than you've ever done. Opryland is it, the original country hit, yeah.
Our new production show, Love My Country, is exactly what the title says. I love the USA, and I love her different styles of music. I think people want to laugh and cry and forget their own problems And it's my job to see that they do that. Because my name's on this show, I feel a tremendous responsibility. And when I go out there, I give it everything I've got. And when the curtain goes down, it's not their job to be a good audience. It's my job to be a good entertainer.
TNN Motorsports. 90 laps complete. Todd Bodine leaving Bobby Labonte. Ernie Irvan in third. Jeff Gordon has now gone to the fourth spot ahead of Kenny Wallace. Here's Brock Yates.
Well, Mike, the story down here is the 28 car, Davey Allison. He made 2 stops. There was a mix-up on the part of the crew. He came in. They thought he only wanted gas, so they did not have a jackman ready. He told Red Farmer, I want outside tires. They weren't ready, so rather than waste time, he went out, came back in again, took the 2 right side tires. So now he went way back. He's now up to 10th place. The interesting part is, though, Red thinks they might be able to squeeze out the distance without another stop. And if that's the case, I'll tell you what, guys, he is a player.
He's back into the top 10 at 92 laps, closing in on halfway. Kenny Wallace just had a wild ride up the banking in turn 1.
He seems to be back at speed now, Mike. I don't know exactly what happened. He may have just got a little bit too high, got out in the marbles, and just got a little bit too wide, and 2 or 3 cars got by him.
Here's Jeff Gordon, who's moved up into 4th place, and he's had a little expert schooling, but he tells us.
Yes, he has. He went through my father, Buck Becker Driving School, and we knew right away that he was something extra special. And to see him run this well after going through the school, and every week he's just getting better and better. He'll be a winner in the near future.
Jeff Gordon up to 4th spot. There's a look at Harry Gant. Kenny Wallace has slipped back behind Gant. That would be back to about 9th position. Boy, Harry just keeps eating them up there, 1 spot at a time. Todd Bodine and Bobby Labonte continue to be the class of the field. Now Bodine had Labonte all over his rear bumper about 5 laps ago, and now Bobby's settled back to about a half to 1 car length distance.
You know, Phil, I'm noticing something. You notice each car has a spurt that they really run well, and then they kind of fall into a pattern. I've noticed that. I don't know whether the cars are getting loose or picking up push. I really can't tell.
Let's take you back through the top 10. 5 laps from halfway now. Todd Bodine, Bobby Labonte, Ernie Irvan, Jeff Gordon in 4th. Tom Peck, good run for Tom today. He's in 5th. Chuck Bown, then Harry Gant, followed by Kenny Wallace, who is now on pit road. Davey Allison and Joe Nemechek is now in the 10th spot. Kenny Wallace in the pit lane with number 36, Cox Treated Lumber.
Mike, it's really going to hurt the guys that did not pit on that first caution flag, because we got 36 car on pit road. That's Kenny Wallace. He was one of the cars that did not pit on that 50-lap caution flag. So this is a scheduled pit stop for him. It's really going to hurt because it's going to put him a lap behind.
Long time for gas on that car. And it looks like they're getting ready for Bobby Labonte. You see the gasman there with the catch can getting ready to pit. Tom Peck now having a challenge from Chuck Bown. That's the battle for 5th spot. Neither car pitted under the caution flag at lap 48. So 5th place at stake there. The defending series champion right there with Tom Peck, and here's Steve Evans.
All right, here's a report on Kenny Wallace's pit stop. Birdie would like to have left him out there a few more laps to make sure that they can finish, but the tires were so far gone they were actually smoking when he came to a stop here. The reason it took longer to put fuel in the car is they wanted to get every ounce they possibly could in to make sure he does not run out of fuel. Now, it's gotten a little bit cooler. It's still a sweat box down here, but there's no direct sun on the racetrack. Tires may last longer the second half of this race. I don't know about this reporter, but the tires may be better off.
Set 2. Todd Bodine is having a bit of difficulty lapping past Tracy Leslie.
Yeah, it seems that Tracy seems to want to race exactly where Todd goes. I notice he comes down. When he comes down, it goes up when he goes up.
And here again, the battle for 5th spot. Everybody's trying to run lower on the racetrack than the next guy.
There he goes. Yeah, they passed him on the bottom side of the racetrack.
Haven't seen hardly anybody passing up high.
That's Kenny Wallace, the car right in front of the 34 car, Todd Bodine, the leader. This will put Kenny Wallace 2 laps down when Todd Bodine passes him.
David Green on pit road. Cecil Eunice getting service. Halfway. The cross flag sign by the leaders. And at halfway, Todd Bodine in front, Bobby Labonte second. And now Ernie Irvan moves up right with the race leader. Irvan now the second place car, bumping Labonte back to third. Kenny Wallace wants to do everything in his power to keep those leaders behind him and try to catch a caution flag, or at least until they pit. Obviously, Ernie Irvan won't have to pit for a while, but Todd Bodine will have to pit within just a few laps. Jeff Gordon on pit road, right side tire. Carolina Ford dealer's car. Todd Bodine continuing to roll, but now Ernie Irvan is right there with him.
You know something that I noticed? They better pray that the yellow doesn't come out again for these cars that have to stop under the green, because if it does, this is going to be the thing that costs them the race.
Service complete on the Jeff Gordon car. Todd Bodine, the white car, native of Chemung, New York. His two older brothers, Winston Cup stars. That's what he wants to be one day. Followed in their shoes up through modifieds. Now to Busch Grand National Series racing. A well-worn path for drivers from the northeastern U.S. You know, Todd Bodine is going to have to pit with it inside of 10 laps, because he did not pit on that caution flag. There's Chuck Bown moving past Tom Peck, and that'll be for fifth spot. You know, Chuck Bown had a problem this morning. He was out there in practice and had a little engine problem. Got oil in the, or water in the oil. It spewed the stuff out. He got in the oil and water mixture, spun out, did a little bit of damage to the car, so they've had to fix the car and put a new engine in it. And he's running awfully well. Right with Tom Peck, you saw Harry Gant. Gant is now up to sixth spot, but he too will have to pit. Leaders, Bodine, Irvan, and Labonte. There's Harry Gant stalking Tom Peck. Peck will have to stop. So will Harry, for that matter. No, Harry, he'll have to stop again, but not for about 40 or 50 more laps. Working up on Steve Grissom's car, the Roddenberry's machine. To put Grissom a lap down. Grissom in 14th place. Bobby Labonte's crew getting set for a pit stop on the third place car as we're 106 laps in. Todd Bodine, who has not made a pit stop, leading Ernie Irvan, Bobby Labonte, who has yet to pit, Chuck Bown, and Tom Peck. That's the top five with 107 laps complete. 93 to go here at Dover Downs in the Budweiser 200. Stay with us. 110 laps complete at Dover Downs. Ernie Irvan passed Todd Bodine for the lead, and then Bodine came to pit road for service. Had a close moment getting into pit road. Here's Brock Yates.
Hey guys, I've been just talking to Red Farmer, and he really likes what he sees Davey Allison doing. He's gaining on the leaders at about a second to a half a second a lap. He's up to fifth place right now, and I'll tell you what, the kid is really driving. He just split a couple of guys down the front straightaway like a zipper, and very aggressive driving. He's doing a beautiful job. He might have to stop for a splash of gas, maybe some right side tires, but Red hopes not. So he's in it all the way.
So Davey will need one more pit stop. They're getting ready for Tom Peck and for Bobby Labonte on pit road. Two of the leaders who have yet to pit. Labonte running second, and Tom Peck now just shuffled out of the top five by Davey Allison into the sixth spot. It is Irvan up front, Bobby Labonte in second, Chuck Bown in third, and who's he battling for third spot? Oh, Harley Gant.
That's amazing.
Old Harry, I'm not running very well today again. Fourth place.
Yeah, I'd hate to see him when he is really running well.
Yeah, make that third place.
Getting ready to be third place, I just started to say.
That Ed Whitaker car runs well wherever it goes. And here's Bobby Labonte on pit road. Steve Evans is there.
I am there, and the crew of Bobby Labonte's pit road speed snacks car was hoping to get a yellow, but it's no time for that now. They've got to get this car serviced. Not much fuel left in the tank. They're going to put on right side rubber, get it in the car as fast as they can, and they will be in ideal shape. Plenty of fuel to go the distance, plenty of tires to go the distance, and with new shoes on the right side, Bobby Labonte is liable to be a terror They're in a good mood down here because they know that Kenny Wallace is a couple of laps back. And, of course, he is second to them in the points. Pretty good spirits here in the 44 pit.
Yeah, but a pretty slow pit stop. 29 seconds.
Hey, they're not going to be. They're going to find themselves a couple laps behind too, Mike, with that 4-tire pit stop.
4 tires under green. They can only change 2 under caution. So Bobby Labonte will drift well back in the standing on that pit stop after challenging for the front spot. So Ernie Irvan, the Mac Tools Chevrolet, is the leader at second place. Mr. Second place, Harry Gant.
But he's not running any good, Mike. He's not running well.
We're not laughing at Harry Gant being in second place. Just at what he told us before the telecast, that he had absolutely no chance today.
You guys remind me never to ask him anything like that again. Ernie Irvan's slow.
He's pretty much by himself. Chasing down some race traffic, working around Elton Sawyer. And meanwhile, Chuck Bown has his hands full with Davey Allison. There's Davey on the inside. That's for third place. And Chuck's going to run right back at him. But he just can't get any lower than that Ford is through turn 4.
It's a Chevrolet. That's Davey Allison, the Chevrolet, though, Mike.
What? I'll
Chevrolet.
You got to be kidding.
No, he's right. But you look at these cars, darn if you can hardly tell the difference anymore. I guess you have to pop the hood, see that distributor's in the front or the back. To know if it's a bow tie or that blue oval from Dearborn. Okay, Davey Allison Chevrolet and Chuck Bown in an Escapade Pontiac. At least last week it was a Pontiac.
That's
I think it still is.
Maybe it's a Ford this week. No, it's definitely a Pontiac.
Somebody's going to have to buy us a scorecard here. Tom Peck is on pit road. This will be a scheduled stop. Great sponsor on that car, the Tom Peck Fan Club. Sponsoring Tom Peck today. There's Davey Allison, and they work past Chuck Bown, and going around the Richard Lassiter car, the Eclipse Racing Pontiac.
The only hope that these guys that are pitting right now, the Tom Peck, the Bobby Labonte, the only hope they have is it will go green long enough that all the guys that pitted around lap 50 will have to make another pit stop on the green. Right now, if the caution comes out, all those guys like Ernie Irvan that pitted at lap 50 can come in on the caution, get some tires, and they'll keep those other cars, Kenny Wallace, Bobby Labonte, Tom Peck, at least 1 lap down.
Now, they'd be Fat City. They all pitted under the 3rd caution of the day at about lap 47. Davey Allison, 3rd place car, as Elton Sawyer comes in for the 2nd time. Now, Elton was one of the drivers that pitted under the 1st caution, making his 2nd stop, a scheduled stop. They look at right rear tires and give him gasoline. 122 laps on the board. Ernie Irvan, Harry Gant, and this man, Davey Allison, the front 3. Chuck Bown is 4th. Darrell Waltrip is 5th. Ward Burton has the 6th spot. Good run for Ward today. 7th is Robert Presley. 8th, Jimmy Hensley. 9th is Troy Beebe on the lead lap. 1 lap down, Steve Grissom is 10th.
You know, Mike, it's a bit ironic that all the guys that pitted on the lap 47 caution are Winston Cup drivers. Or among the guys that pitted were all Winston Cup drivers. The fellows that didn't pit and had to pit here just recently, and I think Chuck Bown was one of the cars that pitted, but we're all Busch Grand National drivers. Do you think the strategy from the Winston Cup teams is, hey, it's about lap 50, we got a caution flag, man, let's get in and get some fuel?
I guess, buddy, you'd have to expect you were going to get another one.
I got to tell you, anytime they throw a caution at Dover, I always come in, no matter what.
Buddy wanted to hear that paper flapping. Might have to put those new tires on there.
From the sticker.
Exactly right.
Darrell Waltrip's trying to lap past Tracy Leslie. And Darrell will have one more pit stop to make. The word we get is he'll take left side tires when he chooses to make that stop with his Western Auto Chevrolet. 124 laps complete, 76 to go, as Darrell Waltrip runs down the back straightaway at the Monster Mile. TNN's coverage of the Budweiser 200 continues.
The way he talks, the way he walks, the way he smiles, looks, and kisses. And when he holds you close, it's in the way he smells. Brute, the essence of man. Come on, put it on.
At Dover Downs, Delaware, Mike Joy, Phil Parsons, and Buddy Baker topside. Steve Evans, Brock Yates, and Glenn Jarrett patrolling pit lane. 129 laps complete. Ernie Irvan leading Harry Gant. Davey Allison, Chuck Bown, and Darrell Waltrip snuck up there into the top 5. Ward Burton into 6th spot. Robert Presley is 7th, and Jimmy Hensley, Troy Beebe, and Steve Grissom. First 8 cars on the lead lap. According to our unofficial rundown, there's a look at Darrell in 5th place with 1 more pit stop to make.
If they can stay under the green for 40 more laps, I tell you, you're going to see a big shuffle in this front bunch that's running right now, because everybody's going to have to stop. I noticed the other cars had to stop around 97 to 100 laps.
Darrell trying to keep it right down on the white line. This has not become today a 2-groove racetrack as we'd hoped.
I really expected it to. Once lapping had begun and people started working the groove up, Mike, but they sure didn't. You look at Darrell, he's out for a Saturday afternoon drive.
Now, if we can go back to that in-car shot, and we will in a minute, I'm a little surprised at some of what I'm seeing there inside of Waltrip's car. Here's leader Ernie Irvan. Look at how he's got both hands way on the left side of the wheel. Now, you teach that in driving school, buddy. I thought you had to have your hands at 9 and 3 even when you're down in the corner. If he had to crank that wheel further, how would he do it?
9 and 3.
Well,
you mean 10 and 2. 10 and 2 is the idea.
They used to teach that. When you learned to drive, it was 10 and 2.
See, Phil, he don't know everything.
I don't know much. But now, really, when you're down in the corner, both your arms are over like that.
Well, apparently the car is a little bit tight there. If you notice, his hands are way over on the left-hand side. If the car was handling real well, he wouldn't have to put both hands on just to hold the car in the corner.
I agree with Buddy, Mike. That's exactly right.
So Waltrip in 5th place.
Ooh.
Here's Brock Yates.
Well, Mike, the guys down here, this is Eddie Jones in the Western Auto crew with Darrell Waltrip. They were all on pit wall. They had the tires, the gas cans out a few laps ago. They watched Darrell keep going on by. He's going to have to make a stop, and the guys tell me he's going to have to take on left side tires and, of course, fuel. Next door to him, the leader, this is, of course, Ernie Irvan's guys. Ivan Baldwin tells me they're going to stop probably in another 10 or 12 laps, somewhere around in there. They can't go a whole lot further. They're going to take on right side rubber and, of course, fuel. So, as Buddy said, we got a bunch of jumbles in this order coming up, presuming we don't get a caution.
Ernie Irvan lapping past Kenny Wallace, and Robert Presley comes to pit road. Kenny again had gotten way up the racetrack and all out of sorts a minute ago.
It just seemed like when he made his pit stop, Mike, that he has not been that good since then, and he was very good prior to that. So I don't know whether he got a mismatched set of tires or what, but Kenny Wallace is not near as strong as he was in the first half of the race.
He's back at 21st position and is now 2 laps down. Ernie Irvan in the lead, and we'll show you where your favorite driver is running with the Wagner Field standings, brought to you by Wagner. Power painting that's not just a whole lot faster, but a whole lot better. That's the way they stood at 125 laps. And you can spot your favorite Winston Cup or Busch Grand National regular in the field. Jimmy Hensley having a good run today, but about to be overhauled by race leader Ernie Irvan. Hensley is the 7th place car in that Golden Gallon number 25. About to go 1 lap down. Irvan was strong, seemed to kind of fade just a little bit, and then after his pit stop, he's come right up through the field.
Yeah, I think when those new tires kicked in, Mike, that's when he started marching to the front.
Not able to dispense with Jimmy Hensley, though. Number 3 point man on the tour. Making an appearance on pit road. Ed Barrier out of Winston-Salem, North Carolina. This will be a scheduled stop for the Garner's Olds.
I'll tell you, Mike, Jimmy Hensley is really running better than it looks, because he made a very late pit stop on the lap 47 caution car. And when he got out, he was a half a lap behind the field. So it has taken Ernie Irvan till now, 139 laps into the race, to make up that half a lap distance, and now he's right behind him trying to put him a lap down.
Hensley looks like he's pulling away from Ernie Irvan a bit, buddy.
Yes, he does. He's running very well, but he just took on tires, as they said. And one other thing, I can't get over Harry Gant. I mean, he says he's not running, but Davey Allison's supposed to be running a second faster than everybody else, and he's not gaining a bit on Harry Gant.
So Irvan is first, Gant is second, Davey Allison is third, and here's Chuck Bown, the 4th place car. Darrell Waltrip in the 5th spot. Let's go to Steve Evans.
Chuck
Bown, Debbie tells me that they can stay out there till about lap 156. Getting yellow now or anywhere between now and then. Obviously, they'll come in for tires and field. Now, in case you think that Chuck Bown is a little over-prepared in the pit area with a spare V6 Buick engine, understand these cars have been pitted for the whole weekend right here in this area. So this is their regular workstation and has been for the last couple of days. Expect to see Chuck Bown no later than lap 156.
Richard Lassiter on pit road now as we watch Chuck Bown, the fourth-place car. I wonder if any of these guys will gamble and try to go the distance. Troy Beebe on pit road. We'll speculate on that just a little bit when we come back to Dover Downs. 142 laps complete. 58 to go as Ernie Irvan leads the field. Harry Gannon second. Davey Allison third. Chuck Bown fourth. Darrell Waltrip fifth. We'll be back to Dover after these messages.
Due to TNN Motorsports Live 1000.
That's 1-800-524-4000.
At Dover Downs, Kenny Wallace comes off pit road after what will be an unscheduled stop as he continues to backslide through the field, currently posted at 18th, just prior to that pit stop, and he'll drift back a bit further. Battle shaping up here is Darrell Waltrip, having just moved underneath the Robert Presley car. He's got Ward Burton closing in.
You know, Mike, we haven't talked much about Ward Burton, but here he is in sixth position. He was not that close to Darrell Waltrip a few laps ago, so he obviously is running pretty well right now.
That's Charlie Henderson's Food Country car, the number 75. Now moving underneath Presley and going to work on Terry Labonte. With Waltrip using those lapped cars as picks to distance himself from Burton 75. There are on the lead lap 6 cars, one of whom is Davey Allison. Let's go to Brock Yates for a little pit strategy.
Well, you think about these guys being very buttoned up and never having any kind of debate, but they are. Red Farmer and Davey Allison are discussing whether or not they're going to go the distance. I think the guys down here say, it's worth a try, but Davey says he's kind of leaning toward a stop. So I think you're going to see a stop for fuel. They're not concerned about tires, but they are concerned about running out of gas. So I think we're going to see a late stop on 28.
Of the 7 drivers on the lead lap, 5 are Winston Cup regulars. They don't run this series full time, and they can afford to gamble. They're racing just for the first and not for point money as Jeff Burton comes on to pit road for what he hopes will be his final stop of the day. Jimmy Hensley, Ward Burton, and Chuck Bown are racing for points as well as for cash today, so they will almost certainly stop. Here's a look at the top 10 as you watch Ernie Irvan, the race leader. 150 laps next time by. Harry Gannon second, Davey Allison, Chuck Bown, and Darrell Waltrip. 4 Winston Cuppers and Bown, the defending Busch champion. In the second 5, Ward Burton and Jimmy Hensley at the lead lap. Steve Grissom a lap down. Todd Bodine and Jeff Gordon. All Busch Series regulars and each 1 lap down.
You see Tracy Leslie in the 72 car right behind Ernie Irvan. He just stopped a few laps ago. He has fresher tires than Ernie Irvan, and he's trying to get by him to get one of his laps back.
Irvan trying to hold him off. Hardly anybody has passed Ernie Irvan today. Little activity in the Harry Gant pit we see looking across pit road. Now Gant comes onto the front straightaway. Irvan is entering turn 1. So he has about a straightaway lead on Harry Gant. Bobby Doddard, the Chicago driver, on pit road. Now we're watching Chuck Bown and Darrell Waltrip go at it. Waltrip off the gas.
Todd Bodine almost spun out just now in the middle of 2. He did a great job of getting the car back under control.
That was just about half a straightaway ahead of the battle we're watching for 4th spot. Darrell going to the outside and right around Chuck Bown. Bown has got to be pitted.
Looks like he's getting ready to come to the pits. You know, we've been over 100 laps since that lap 47 caution. So Chuck Bown is electing to come in.
On the lead lap, the Escapade Pontiac, the defending Busch Grand National champ, Chuck Bown.
Steve Grissom in the Roddenberry car followed him in the pits. So these are scheduled pit stops for the guys that did pit on that third caution flag.
154 laps complete. And it'll be left side tires this time for Chuck Bown. Wonder if Irvin will risk it.
No, I don't think anybody will. I mean, we heard talk about Davey Allison. I don't think they can run 153 miles at this racetrack, Mike.
Apparently not. There's Tony Glover. And Ernie Irvin's crew getting ready for the race leader. 45 laps to go.
This will be a real break if we can just keep going green for a few laps. It'll be a real break for all the guys that had to make their pit stops around the lap 100 mark and are now one lap down because of it.
Now he only needs 50 miles worth of gas. Is it worth it to grab tires as well?
It all depends on how much faster the tires are. We saw just a few moments ago Tracy Leslie, who did have fresh right side tires, come up and pass Ernie Irvin. But he's got, right now they probably only need 1 can of gas. So it's only going to take about 7 seconds to put 1 can of gas in. It'll take about 15 seconds to change 2 tires and put 1 can of gas in. So they have to weigh the factors and see how much faster the cars on fresh tires are running.
Irvin's coming in. Buddy, 1 can of gas. You got a straightaway lead. Would you take tires?
I don't know. I know how much new tires really help, but let's see what Ernie does here.
Here's Brock Yates.
They're putting tires.
All right, Ernie's in the pits, and of course they had tires on the pit wall. There was no question that they were going to change the right side all the way. Everybody was ready to change those right side tires. No change in the chassis. He's back underway. Quick stop for Ernie Irvin.
43 laps to go. Irvin will stay on the lead lap, and that hands the lead over to Harry Gant. How about that?
He's now 1 lap down. Harry Gant just went by, and that's Harry Gant going through turn 1 and 2. And Ernie Irvin is not up to speed yet. He's on the apron in the middle of turn 1 and 2.
Cars that have not pitted in the last 100 miles include the 75 that's on pit road right now, Ward Burton's car. Harry Gant, Darrell Waltrip, Jimmy Hensley, and Davey Allison have not pitted in the last 100 miles.
There's your leader right there, and second place Davey Allison in the 28 car.
Here's Brock Yates.
Mike, I just got word from the 28 crew. They're going to gamble. They're going to stay. Davey wanted to stop. The crew apparently said, we'll go. They won. So let's see how it works out. But I think Ernie Irvin played his card, and I think now Davey Allison said, okay, we're going to gamble. Well, they'll go the distance.
I knew somebody would try it, but it won't be Harry Gant. He's on pit road, and Glenn is there.
And Harry Gant brings that no chance special number 7 Skull Bandit into the pit. All they do is dump a little gasoline in it, just enough to get him by. That's a calculated risk. They had set up to fake everybody out, holding left side tires up. They told the other crews they were going to change left side tires. No way. All they wanted was just enough gas to get them to the finish.
And here's Davey Allison. They will not go the distance. Perhaps seeing that Ernie Irvin got tires and would be much quicker, Davey Allison is now in, and he'll get right side.
Mike, we have the perfect scenario right now. We have Davey Allison and Ernie Irvin, who both took on 2 tires. Harry Gant on the other side of the spectrum took on 1 can of gas and had a much shorter pit stop. So we'll see what happens. Are the new tires going to be that much faster to overcome the difference in the pit stop?
Buddy?
It's almost a half a lap difference there. I'm looking at Harry Gant. He's in the middle of 2, and right now Ernie's just now getting to the start-finishing line. So he's got to really get on with it. Look at this coming out of the pits here.
And I got to tell you, Darrell Waltrip looks more and more like David Pearson every day. You never see him. You just never see him at the front of the pack. And here we are, 40 laps to go. And who's the leader? DW.
I'll tell you right now, Mike, Darrell Waltrip has had a chance to watch both the strategies. He's watched the Ernie Irvin and the Davey Allison change 2 tires. He's watched Harry Gant put 1 can of gas in. And as Buddy said, Harry Gant now has a half a lap lead on those 2 cars. Even though Darrell's leading the race, he knows he has to stop again. So right now, Darrell is trying to decide right now which one he's going to do. I'm going to guess that he's going to just put 1 can of gas in, just like Harry Gant.
Buddy, what do you think? Tires for Darrell?
I think Darrell will take the same route that Harry Gant did. I mean, it's obvious that you're not going to drive a half a lap up, no matter how good the tires. We'll see in a second.
We're about to find out. Here's Waltrip coming to pit road. Eddie Jones and crew at the ready. I don't see any tires. Brock Yates.
Waltrip into the pits. The blasted fuel. That's it. No tire change for him.
Mark that one at about 4.5 seconds. The leader is now Jimmy Hensley. Hensley will have to make a pit stop. He'll be the last of the drivers that has not stopped in 100 miles or more. 164 complete. 36 laps to go at Dover, Delaware. Jimmy Hensley in front. Harry Gant, Ernie Irvan, Darrell Waltrip coming up to speed after his pit stop. And we'll be back with more of the Budweiser 200 from Dover Downs after these messages.
Why are beers that go down lightly?
It's almost like cheating. You get a good shave, and you don't get the negative side effects. I'm very pleased with the Norelco. It's close. I don't have any, no stubble, feels like a baby's butt.
Now, Norelco's patented lift and cut system has been improved to lift each hair and cut it even closer without the blades touching your skin.
The idea of shaving is to get a smooth appearance, smooth skin. And if you're going to do it, you might as well be comfortable doing it.
The new Norelco, a new level of closeness and comfort.
That pass we saw Harry Gant put on Jimmy Hensley just before the break was for the lead. Gant is out in front with 31 laps to go. Troy Beebe has gone to the garage area as Ed Berrier makes a pit stop. Gant and Hensley, Ernie Irvan, Davey Allison, Todd Bodine in fifth. Right back of Bodine comes Darrell, Jeff Gordon, Tom Peck, Bobby Labonte, and Ward Burton. Then add Chuck Bown onto that list of cars that are on the lead lap. Here's Brock Yates.
Oh, Mike, you remember I gave you some of that brilliant pit analysis. I said that Davey Allison was not going to stop. Stopped exactly 2 laps later. That's the report that we got from Red Farmer and the guys. They had made the decision. They were kind of standing by, but of course in that sort of emergency, semi-emergency situation, suddenly their spotter, who's up on top here at the sea, he yelled out, he said, Davey's coming in. And of course everybody got ready. But that was Davey's decision, not the guys here in the pit. So, you can see that there was a little debate going on there all afternoon long about whether or not to make that kind of stop.
And in the end, it was the driver's call to bring the car in. Jimmy Hensley's on pit road. He is the last of the leaders to make a stop. Right side tires on the Don Beverly car. Golden Gallon Oldsmobile. A long time there, trying to get some oil off the windshield for Hensley. Boy, that is going to be costly as they complete the tire change. And Hensley will go a lap down now. That'll leave us 10 cars on the lead circuit with just 28 laps to run. Leaders of this race, pole sitter Dave Mader, Ernie Irvan, David Green, Kenny Wallace, Todd Bodine, and Davey Allison have all led for a bit. Add Harry Gant onto that list. Darrell Waltrip have all had a chance at the front. Right now, it is Gant. The second place battle, though, is heating up. There you see, left side of your screen, Ernie Irvan, the yellow car. And to the right, Davey Allison. Closing up on Terry Labonte, who has gone 3 laps down.
Mike, according to the unofficial watches, Ernie Irvan is really cutting into Harry Gant's lead. He's only about 6 seconds behind right now, so there's 26 laps left. Will they be able to catch him? We'll have to see.
Remember, Irvan got tires on that pit stop. Gant did not. Buddy, for how long will that give you an edge?
Well, let's say it this way. He might catch him, but passing him is another story.
As Gant rounds out of turn 4 and comes to the start-finish line, Irvan is in the middle of turn 4 when Gant is at the start-finish line. That's the separation. There's Ernie Irvan. You see Davey Allison closing in, the third-place car. And the white car, bottom of your screen, Todd Bodine, then Darrell Waltrip. So all the front 5 are covered within a straightaway. It's going to be quite a finish.
I'll tell you, a caution flag right now would really bunch this field up. We would have one whale of a finish.
I think we're going to have one anyway. You've got 5 leaders all within half the distance of the racetrack after 176 miles.
I think that white car right there, Todd Bodine, right behind Davey Allison, may be the fastest car on the racetrack.
Waltrip in 5th. 24-degree banking here at Dover Downs. That's turns 1 and 2. Even the backstretch is banked.
You asked me a few seconds ago about the tires. How long does it really help you? It helps you as long as the tire is better than your competitor. So it's going to be a better tire till the end of the race because it's a newer tire.
So chances are that Irvan could be able to run down Harry Gant, all other things being equal. because he got new tires. He's knocked about 3.5 seconds off Harry's lead in about 10 laps, Mike. So at that rate, I would think he would probably catch him. And now Jeff Gordon is pulling up on Darrell Waltrip. Gordon in the number 1 car. The Bill Davis machine, that Carolina Ford dealer's car, is pulling right up on Darrell. That's for 5th spot. Ernie Irvan running kind of solo on the racetrack. He'll have Cecil Eunice next to head, and then the Kenny Wallace car as he tries to chase down leader Harry Gant. 21 laps to go here at Dover Downs. Ernie Irvan trying to run down Harry Gant as Winston Cup drivers have the top 3 spots ahead of Todd Bodine and Darrell Waltrip. TNN's live exclusive coverage at Dover Downs continues after this.
There's no dashboard.
TNN Motorsports live coverage of the Budweiser 200 is brought to you by Nestle Crunch. Get the taste of victory. Nestle Crunch. Nestle Crunch ice cream bar. Chocolate is scrunches when it crunches. It is closing up front. Harry Gant finds that Mack Tool Chevrolet of Ernie Irvan ever closing in his rearview mirror.
And Davey Allison, who is really coming up through there now. He's in 3rd and really closing in on Irvan. This is going to be a shootout.
I'll tell you, Mike, the strategy was good, but it didn't work. Harry is beat. There's no way Harry can hold them off with the tires they have.
Well, in a 184-lap race, Gant wins, but there are 16 circuits to go, and Irvan has better tires, fresher tires, let's say, than Harry Gant. The leaders battle out of turn 2. And Davey Allison is fast closing into the picture. And I mean fast. He's just 4 car lengths back of the lead duo. There he is.
There it goes.
Boy, Harry's got the horsepower.
But don't ask him. Don't ask him.
Here comes Davey. And Gant gets displaced to 3rd.
That's got to be the worst feeling in racing. You know, you drive your heart out and you get beat because you did not do the right thing in the pits. And I guarantee you right now, he's just saying to himself, if I could just go back and get those 2 tires, I'd give anything.
And I thought that was the right move at the time because he, you know, as Buddy said, he almost had a half a lap, but the new tires just caught him right back up.
Not me, pal. I told you all the way through. Anytime I could get new tires, I took them.
Well, it was the right strategy, but the race was too long. That's right. He just had too far to go and couldn't hold that advantage. So now it's Ernie Irvan, but Irvan's task is by no means complete because that black-orange and day-glow machine of Davey Allison, that Chevrolet, is right on Ernie Irvan's bumper.
I see something. The 34 car is going to pass Harry also, and also the 1 car with Jeff Gordon is right behind Todd Bodine.
So there's Gant continuing to roll, but he is now back in the 3rd position. There are your leaders, Irvan and Allison. 12 laps to go. Out of turn 2. Lap traffic ahead, but single file should pose no problem.
He can't even fight him off.
Nope. Gant is a sitting duck a little further back as the leaders work lap traffic. Terry Labonte back on pit road as Chuck Bown gets to move over flag. 10 laps to go. Next time by, we're told.
Ooh.
There, Gant is under heavy pressure from Jeff Gordon. He's already yielded a spot to Todd Bodine. So Harry in the number 7 car, the Ed Whitaker Skoll machine, is 4th, but not for long. Up front, Irvan and Allison put Chuck Bown 1 lap back. Jeff Gordon has completed the pass on Harry Gant.
And here comes Darrell Waltrip up to pass Harry also. What a horrible thing to have happen, Phil.
It sure was. I tell you, again, I thought it would work, but it sure didn't.
This is worse than the wrong lane at the toll booth.
Harry has no defense. There's nothing he can do about these guys passing. Absolutely nothing.
No exact change, no nothing. You're just sitting there and the whole world goes by on the way to the beach. Irvin and Allison, 9 laps to decide this. Does Davey have enough?
Well, I don't know. He caught up to him when he was trying to pass Harry, so he's able to stay right with him. But whether he has enough to pass him, we'll see. I'm sure he'll give it all he has.
I can promise you this: he'll give everything he has, but the man leading the race will give everything he has to stay there. So that's going to be a real battle for that lead.
Toe-to-toe into turn number 3. 2 Chevrolets at the front of the pack. Todd Bodine in third. Going to have a great run home in this one. In front of many Bodine supporters from the Northeast. Is Ernie slipping up just a little bit between 1 and 2? If it is, it's not. Davey's not gaining on him because of it.
If he is, it's by design because he's not losing any time.
You know, I just noticed something. Jeff Gordon's running well even on the high side. He's gaining on Todd Bodine when he passes cars even on the upper line now. So it must be getting better on the higher line for him.
And Harry, Darrell Waltrip is also up there in the Harry Gant groove, running midway up the racetrack.
I think by tomorrow's race, the 500-mile race tomorrow, we'll probably have 2 grooves.
Nobody's been in Harry Gant's groove yet. He's about 2 inches off the wall when he's running Dover like he really wants to.
5 laps to go. Again, his tires are worn up. He is now falling back to within 3 cars of the tail end of the lead lap.
Gant saying, groove, what groove?
Yeah. Ernie Irvin, the Modesto, California driver, winner of the Daytona 500, and Davey Allison, the hottest thing on the Winston Cup Tour, who took $400,000 out of Charlotte Motor Speedway in the last 10 days. And a lot of smoke out of Irvin's car. Uh-oh. Out of the corner. Here goes Davey. It's over for Ernie Irvin.
And for Harry Gant.
Harry Gant's on pit road. And he's going to lose it.
He's going to spin. Oh, me. Slow down, boys.
That's turn 4. Caution.
He's clear.
And with 4 laps to go, I'll tell you, Harry Gant didn't have the tough tires, but how about having a 195-mile engine for a 200-mile race?
But as you mentioned, Mike, Harry Gant would have won the 184-mile Budweiser race, but Ernie Irvin would have won the 196-mile Budweiser race.
Harry Gant gets left side tires. Now, will they count this as a caution flag pit stop, or can he get 4?
Harry's getting out of the car. He must have. He has a terminal problem. Obviously, he's already out of the car.
And sadly, his prediction will prove true that they just didn't have it to win today. Ernie Irvin takes off the steering wheel, and he will climb out after a tremendous run in the Mac Tools Chevrolet. There you see those clouds of smoke. Now, that's well into it. That first big puff was down in turn number 1. Right out the tailpipe.
Obviously, Mike, the reason he spun was he got in his own oil, but he knew there was only 3 or 4 laps to go, so he was going to try to limp around to finish. Had that have been halfway through the race, he'd have never spun, because when that thing blew up, he would have just stopped.
You can see the fluid just
You can see the fluid
out.
coming out, but he would have never done that had it not been so close to the end of the race.
197 laps. See if we can get this one restarted. NASCAR has hooked up to the back of Irvin's car, and they will push it to pit road. And see if the white flag comes this time.
Finish under yellow.
If it does with the yellow, then all Davey Allison has to do is idle along to victory lane.
Stolen white flag, but I can't exactly understand what they're doing here.
I guess they're going to wave it.
Oh, look at this. Davey Allison's out of gas on the inside of the race.
No! Todd Bodine, I can't believe
Todd Bodine will win this race.
Talk about a day of turnarounds.
I tell you, Mike, there's no reason for him to run out of gas. He pitted, and he took enough time to get tires. Took on his pit stop about lap 160.
They were waving the can at it, but they couldn't have got it all in.
Obviously, they didn't get enough gas in. Todd Bodine will win his first race.
Some 30,000 people here are standing shaking their heads and not knowing what has happened. But Todd Bodine, the youngest of the racing brothers from Chemung, New York, is about to go to victory lane, and he will probably be as surprised as anybody. Now, Davey Allison has Elton Sawyer pushing him around the racetrack, and we'll have to check on the legality of that.
We'll have to ask Harry Gann about whether that's legal or not, Mike.
Well, Harry got a bump from Rick Mast at Talladega, went on to win. The rule is you can't receive any assistance from another driver after the white flag. Oldsmobile pace car leads Todd Bodine to the finish line, and Jeff Gordon, the young lions of NASCAR Busch Grand National Racing, come home at the front of the field. Darrell Waltrip will come home third, and Ward Burton fourth. It's been an amazing 200 miles here at Dover Downs, and we'll meet with Todd Bodine, the winner of the Budweiser 200, right after this.
What you're about to see is a sim. Brushstrokes, runs, streaks. Now consider the new Wagner Power Painter. It has patented controls for precision, a convenient backpack for big jobs. It paints smoothly and evenly over cracks and tough surfaces. Why did we ruin this beauty? So you wouldn't ruin this one. Wagner, not just a whole lot faster, a whole lot better.
Last year, hundreds of thousands of people bought Fetter's room air conditioners. Was it the large selection? Or features like the Comfort Master Precision Thermostat? Extras like the heavy-duty rear grille that protects the condenser coil? Could it be whisper quiet performance? Or Fetter's high efficiency ratings? One thing is certain. You can't do better than a Fetter's.
If you could reach into your TV, take the picture, and put it anywhere you want, you would discover the miracle of liquid crystal entertainment. The miracle of Sharp Vision. Sharp Vision's flat picture can be any size to fit any wall in any size room. Enjoy the crystal clear picture from any angle, and Sharp Vision disappears when not in use. Liquid Crystal Sharp Vision. Big screen entertainment designed for your home.
You took a stand for all we stand for. You gave your hand when it was asked for. Oh, you are the ones who lifted us. You are the ones who kept the trust. You're the ones whose gift we must recall. We hear the children singing now for every hero. Sing it loud. We want to thank you. Yes, we want to thank you. You're the ones we thank you all.
In America, your car doesn't just get you from here to there. It's a part of your life. To give your car complete protection, Texaco is introducing new Haviland Formula 3 motor oil with not one but 3 kinds of protection against heat stress, starting friction, and engine dirt. New Haviland Formula 3. Add more life to your car.
We are back live in Dover, Delaware, in the winner's circle of the Budweiser 200. The entire Bodine family is in tears as baby brother Todd has won his first ever Busch Grand National race, taking on a little bit of oxygen. I think all of us who witnessed the finish could use a little oxygen. I know the guys up in the booth, especially Mike Joy, were staggered by what they saw. Let's let him get a good breath of air. Lynn, his wife, a great day.
Yes, it really was. Todd was up front all day long, and if he wasn't there, we wouldn't have been able to take advantage of David running out of gas. But the C.C. Williver Buick ran real well, and we're real happy.
We're real happy for you. 3 winning brothers in one family from Chemung, New York. You about ready to talk to us, Todd? Congratulations. Can you believe the finish?
No, at the end there, I was just hanging on. waiting for Jeff Gordon to get up there and battle him, and the caution come out. Davey run out of gas. I can't believe it. We run good all day. Had a bad break, got a flat tire, and had to pit a little early. That meant we had more laps on our tires at the end. We hung in there.
And the heat, obviously, a big factor. You're exhausted, even though you're in fine shape.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Did you believe it, Len, when you saw Ernie Irvin blow? You thought, well, we'll get second. Then Davey Allison goes to the inside, a dream come true.
It really was. Todd told me that we were going to win a race this year, and I was just hoping to finish in the top 10, but for an unsponsored race car, I think we've really done really well, and Todd's really done a super job, and I'm proud of him.
Well, now you remember why you married a race car driver.
Yeah, he was a crew member when I married him, but I guess I lucked out. I married a Bodine, so.
Indeed you did. This is just an amazing scene down here. All right. What does this mean to a young race driver like yourself, Doug?
Well, you know, we're just working towards a Winston Cup career someday. This is just one step. You know, it's a long way from here. This is just one win. We got to prove we can stay up front. But I think we can do it. We got a good crew, good team, good owners. All we need is a good sponsor.
And you're no longer racing totally under the shadow of your older brothers, Jeff and Brett. You join them as a winner.
Yeah, I guess so. Thanks.
All right, let's go to Brock Yates.
Well, Steve, Mike, I'm down here with the Davey Allison crew. Red Farmer beginning to try to figure out what happened to this race car. And the initial thought, of course, was that they didn't get enough fuel in that last stop. And now they're beginning to take a look at the engine, trying to figure out whether or not we have a fuel pump problem or fuel pressure difficulty of some kind. Red, of course, been through about anything that you can imagine in stock car racing, but I don't think he's ever seen anything like this. Red, just a quick word. Do you reckon that it's something in the engine or just not enough fuel got on board? Oh, there goes the engine, refired now, but obviously about 5 minutes too late.
Yep. We don't really know what wrong. We ran 112 laps. We ran 112 laps without fueling. We come in at 162 laps and put in 10 gallons. It should have run 55 laps, but it ran out in 38. So we don't know whether maybe the pickup or something broke in the tank and it didn't pick up the extra gas or what. But
the dump can was definitely empty.
Yeah, in other words, the gas man put in 10 gallons at 162 laps, which wasn't but 38 laps to go. So we should have plenty of gas. I mean, there's no question. We can run 50, almost 60 laps on 10 gallons of gas, but yet we run out 38, so something ain't right.
Red, there seemed to be a little bit of confusion early in the going. You had decided to try to run a distance, and Davey came in and took that splash of fuel, and then he was reporting to you that the car was tight. Had you sort of resolved yourself to second place against Ernie, and Ernie all of a sudden fell out? Then you had victory in your grip, and you fell out.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, he said the car was a little tight. He couldn't do anything with Ernie because the car was pushing and going through the corner. So he was just hoping maybe Ernie would get caught in traffic and he'd get a chance to get by him. But, you know, he didn't do it. So we was, you know, hoping we were going to take second place, which would have been a good finish from coming from 30th. But, you know, that's the way to go. Ernie had bad luck, and we turned around and had bad luck. The man running third place ended up winning the race. So that's the way racing goes. But we still want to find out what's happening. Evidently, our pickup or something's not picking up all the gas in the tank. You know, the pickup could have broke off somewhere through the thing, and we may have gas in there, but just not picking it up. We don't know to get ready to check it.
Well, I'm sure you find out. Tough break. I tell you, from a man who's seen just about everything in stock car racing, Red Farmer's going to have to figure this one out. Let's go to Steve.
Well, thank you, Brock. I'm with Brett Bodine, the driver of Kenny Bernstein's Quaker State Buick Winston Cup car. Was that a little tear I saw behind those sunglasses when your brother took the checker?
I'll tell you what, you know, we're so pleased with what he did today. You know, he's got so little experience as a driver, and to be able to come up here and race against these guys and be competitive, and then let alone win a race, you know, it's just great. He's come a long way in a short period of time. I've never made it to victory lane here at Dover. I run second, and Jeff's won the Winston Cup here, but I guess it's my turn tomorrow.
Has there ever been any sibling rivalry between you or your brothers as far as racing is concerned? Have you always been supportive of each other?
We've always been supportive. Jeff's 10 years older than I am, and Todd's 5 years younger than me. So, you know, we're spread out enough that we never competed against each other in sports in high school or around home. It's always been racing. And Todd's in the Grand National. Eventually, it looks like he's going to make it in the Winston Cup, and then it's going to get quite a sibling rivalry, 3 of us in the Winston Cup.
Congratulations to the whole family. Good job.
Well, I'll tell you, it was a lot of fun. I spotted for him today. I'd like to say hi to Jeff back home. He couldn't be here because of his injuries, but we're proud of him. Huh? How about it, buddy?
Don't jump down too hard, Jeff, and re-injure yourself, okay? Let's go back up to Mike.
Well, I wish that Robert Town had not finished the script for Days of Thunder, that he had kind of hung around and come to this race, because this would have made a tremendous script. What a day for the Bodine family and for Busch Grand National Racing. We'll be back with more from Dover Down, where Todd Bodine has won the Budweiser 200 right after this.
I'm not big on social graces. Think I'll slip on down to the
Award winner Garth Brooks stars on the Grand Ole Opry Live, Saturday on TNN. Due to TNN Motorsports live coverage of the Budweiser 500 Sunday, Bill Dance Outdoors will air at a special time, Saturday 7 Eastern, 6 Central, and only at 9:30 Eastern, 8:30 Central on TNN Sports Sunday.
Gardeners, if you love fresh-tasting vegetables and big, beautiful flowers, but think results like this take too much time and too much back-breaking work, here's great news. Introducing the affordable Troy-Bilt Junior, designed especially for smaller gardens. Just look at the time and work the Junior will save you. It's so easy to prepare perfect, ready-to-plant seed beds. Plus, working organic matter into your soil is a snap. Spot till areas for beautiful flower gardens and borders. Why, you can even use the Junior to reseed your lawn or ring fruit trees. You'll be amazed at how much time and work the Junior will save you. So if you want to learn more about getting results like this, the fast, easy Troy-Bilt way, call now to receive your free Troy-Bilt catalog.
For your free catalog featuring the Junior and our whole line of Troy-Bilt tillers, including our no money down easy payment plan, call toll-free 1-800-828-6363. Operators are standing by. That's 1-800-828-6363. Call now.
At Dover Downs, Delaware, they're still shaking their heads, and after all of this, on the last few laps, what's in store for tomorrow in the Bud 500 live on TNN? If you're having trouble sorting this out, or if you have friends who didn't get a chance to see it, this race will replay on June 30th on TNN. You'll want to see it again. And here, with 1 lap to go, is Davey Allison. There's Ernie Irvan being pushed away after his engine expired and the car rolled to a halt. And here is Davey Allison up in the banking, stuttering and not getting any fuel to the carburetor. And Todd Bodine, much to his surprise, will work around Davey and be the car behind the pace car at the checkered flag. Todd Bodine the winner. Jeff Gordon, great run for the rookie, finishing second. Darrell Waltrip, solid race, rose to the top in the closing stages for third. Ward Burton, good finish for the Charlie Henderson team. He's fourth. Bobby Labonte will pad his point lead with that 5th place finish. Davey Allison is credited with 199 laps. He did not complete the final lap under his own power, so he's the 6th place car. Jimmy Hensley, 3rd place point man, is 7th today. Steve Grissom is 8th. Tom Peck, solid finish in 9th. Same for Joe Nemechek in the 10th spot. Jeff Burton winds up 11th after an extra pit stop. Tracy Leslie is 12th. Ernie Irvan is credited with 13th. David Green in 14th. And today that 7 car was Harry Gant, who can't even get credit on the car for his 15th place finish. But Harry did wind up in the 15th spot in number 7. Cecil Eunice, Kenny Wallace, Robert Presley, Chuck Bown, and Terry Labonte rounded out the top 20 here at Dover this afternoon in Busch Grand National action. And let's go to Glenn Jarrett.
Well, Mike, while a lot of those guys are shaking their heads in disbelief, we got a guy here hanging his head a little bit. Bobby Labonte, you seem a little bit dejected about that 5th place finish.
Well, you know, it was a good day for the Penrose Oldsmobile. We were running great all day, but come in there, I guess the way we pitted was a little bit different than what we thought we were going to do. We figured it'd be a few more yellows, but there wasn't. So, you know, it just didn't work out for us today, but we're pretty happy with the team and just get ready for tomorrow.
Well, the car looked awfully strong there for a while in the race. In fact, you were pressing for the lead, and you can't feel too bad. You held on to your points lead with the 5th place finish, and you got to feel good about that. The car ran well. In a deal like that, you roll the dice. Sometimes you come up a winner, sometimes you come up a loser.
Well, yeah, and the way it looked there at the end, a lot of them lost. they roll the dice, and they don't need to go to Vegas or Lang City now because they lost.
That's right, and I know you're looking forward to your first Winston Cup start tomorrow.
That's right, yeah, with Slim Jim Oldsmobile, we're just going to go out there and get some laps in and learn.
What do you think today's experience will help you out tomorrow? Particularly in pit strategy.
it's going to be a lot more tomorrow, but we'll be better tomorrow, I'm sure.
All right, look for big things out of Bobby Labonte. This guy's got a great future to him.
Well, as Todd Bodine continues to celebrate here in the winner's circle, I'm sure he's quick to praise his crew chief, Clyde McLeod. You have been a mentor now for 2 of the Bodine brothers, first Brett and now this nice young man.
Yeah, I sure have. When Brett was driving for us, Todd also worked for us, so we were kind of like together, and Jeff was even up there at that time.
Do you think a young driver like Todd should first be on a crew and get comfortable with the car and comfortable with the racing before he takes the wheel of the car?
I'll tell you something. It's a big help to have a driver that's done it all before. The kid's a fabricator, a chassis man. When he gets in that car, he can tell you what he wants and help tell you how to fix it.
Well, obviously, you had a little bit of luck there at the end. But looking back over the day, what won the race for you? Why were you in a position to win it?
Well, we just set up our car so it would be comfortable and run that same speed all day long. And that's actually what it did. I mean, it run the same from start to finish. We didn't plan on getting a flat tire. That kind of forced us out of our strategy a little bit. But as it was, it didn't turn out bad for us anyway.
Yeah, I don't want to give Todd a big head, but about midway through the race, our buddy Baker upstairs was really admiring his style and his poise out there.
Well, don't forget, we got his brother Brett on the scanner radio who does the spotting for us during our race. And I'll tell you, he was telling him to drive the line and calm down and don't go high and don't go low and stay out of the tire all day long.
Well, he was doing a tremendous job, and the car looks like it could run another 100 miles.
Yeah, he didn't touch a thing out there. And I'd just like to thank Quaker State, our only really major product sponsor in Wellwood, and Quartermaster, and Scott Welliver and Frank Cece, our owners. Without them, we wouldn't be here.
Get up there and get a little Budweiser sprayed on you.
Thank you.
All right, let's go to Brock Yates.
Well, this is the day of the rising stars, and I'll tell you, if Todd Bodine has won, certainly this young man, Jeff Gordon, who finished in second place, did a great job. Jeff, we watched you go. Buddy was talking both about you and Todd, and he said that Jeff Gordon's starting to find his way around here. You, best finish ever in the Busch cars. We've touted you as having a great future, and this begins to confirm the kind of things that a lot of people have expected from you.
Well, today was just an unreal day. You know, I mean, here at Dover and a lot of people here on TV and a lot of the Winston Cup drivers out there also. So, you know, I really just owe a lot to the crew. They did an excellent job. The car was just working all day long. We fell back at the beginning, but the thing really came on strong, you know, halfway, and I just you know, owe a whole lot to Carolina Ford dealers and the crew. I mean, they just did a great job.
Jeff, you and Kenny Schrader are the most recent guys to come out of open wheel competition up north. Is it a difficult transition to make? These are bigger, heavier cars, not quite as much horsepower, but very difficult to drive. Not a lot of tire. How long is it a learning process for you that's going to take a little more time?
Oh, definitely. You know, I mean, the veterans are really the ones who win these races, and the guys with a lot of laps and a lot of experience, and that's what it takes to win. You know, every once in a while the young guys can throw one in there, but I'll tell you what, you know, it's not so much harder, it's just totally different from what I'm used to. I'm used to kind of sliding the cars around and really working with the cars, and you know, these cars, you really got to work with the handling part of it. You really got to get them working well, and you know, you just got a lot of patience for these longer races. You really just got to pace yourself and hope the car comes on halfway through the race, and that's exactly what our car did today.
Sure did, and our congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Jeff Gordon. Mike?
Today, for Todd Bodine and Jeff Gordon, it was the Miracle Mile. For Ernie Irvin and Davey Allison, it was the Mystery Mile. We'll be back to Dover Downs, Delaware on the Budweiser 200 right after these messages.
Kelly LeBrock reveals the essence of man.
Hard to define, easy to know. It's in the way he holds a drink, the way he wears his clothes, the way he talks, the way he walks, the way he smiles, looks, and kisses. And when he holds you close, it's in the way he smells. Brute, the essence of man. Come on, put it on.
Over its life, a Motorcraft battery delivers enough energy to light up a small park, like Candlestick Park. Shouldn't you install that peace of mind? Motorcraft quality parts from Ford.
Motorcraft energy-conserving oil can help reduce fuel consumption. It can also reduce traffic. Motorcraft quality parts. Peace of mind from Ford.
If only your tires could talk.
It's so tiring. He babies the car, then abuses me with messy vinyl cleaner. Hey, I'm rubber. No-touch tire care. Ooh, nice foam.
Introducing No Touch Tire Care, the first product to clean, shine, and protect tires in one easy step. No scrubbing, no dirty rags, no mess.
Yeah, clean and shiny. Oh no, bad doggy, go away.
Treat your tires right with new No Touch Tire Care.
The time has come for the cordless power roller from Wagner. It's so quick and easy, it can cut painting time in half. So get your hands on a real value, because the value of Wagner keeps on rolling.
Chocolate is scrumptious when it crunches. That's why I love Nestle Crunch. That's why I love Nestle Crunch Crunches.
In my considered opinion, it's okay to enjoy mowing one's lawn. Oh, for heaven's sake. In fact, my snapper significantly enhances my sense of well-being. Of course, my snapper dealer was kind enough to offer a 14-day money-back test drive. The good man really stands behind his machines. So if you're looking for emotional satisfaction, my advice to you is seek professional help. That's right. See your snapper dealer. Anything less just won't cut it.
The man who won the Budweiser 194 today, but who fell just a few laps short of the finish, is with Brock Yates.
Ernie, they're describing you as the man who won the 194-lap race here today. You had him covered. It looked like it just a runaway. Davey told us or told his crew that he could not catch you. He was tight, and he had given up when you blew up. Had to be a horrible feeling.
Well, I was just sitting there running just fast enough to stay ahead of Davey, and probably could have run a little faster, but you know, that's yet to be seen. But it's Mac Tools car, the Chevrolet, and everybody that helps us out on this deal is just, we haven't been able to finish a Busch race yet, and there's 2 races in a row that we blew up in the last 10 laps, and it's just one of them deals. You know, it's not the motor builder's fault. It's just the way things go.
Just racing.
We're pretty happy with our run today, but just not finishing.
Ernie, you made a good quick stop early in the going. Most of the Winston Cup guys did. It's a tactical try to take advantage of the cautions. Everything seemed to be playing out perfectly for you.
It did. You know, we didn't even put tires on in the first stop because the car was handling so good. We just said, let's just stop, get gas. We can make it to the 150 lap mark. Then we'll put tires on it. That's what we did. Everything went perfect. The only thing that could have went better was have a caution around 140. But, you know, we couldn't ask for it to go better. Run Harry down, past him. And, you know, I just can't say enough for the Mac Tool Chevrolet, but we just needed a motor to go 4 laps farther.
A really bizarre finish because, of course, as soon as you blow up, the caution that you brought out, Davey Allison, we understand, has about 4 or 5 gallons of fuel left in his tank. So the pickup problem certainly under caution when he tried to get back up to speed. It just, he wouldn't run, and so he retired, and of course, after that, it was a total surprise. But that's what the folks come and watch this kind of automobile racing for. These surprise finishes are what keeps them in the stands.
It sure does. You know, you never know who's going to win one of these races, and you know, Davey's got the same problem I do. He can't win one. I haven't been able to finish one. We always keep saying the first one we finish, we're going to win, and we thought we had her today, but just not quite.
How about tomorrow?
Well, we got a good shot at it. This Kodak car's running good, and we feel real happy with it.
Go get him. Ernie Irvan, tough break for him, but you'll see him again tomorrow. Glenn?
You are looking at the well-used side of a race car. That belongs to current Busch Grand National champion Chuck Bown. Chuck, you had a good run going all day long. What happened right there at the end?
Well, it was just one of those unfortunate things. The right front tire had worn out and started vibrating a couple of laps before, and I told Jeff on the radio that it was picking up a vibration and not wanting to turn in the corner, so I was just going to back off a little bit and try to ride it out. There's only like 5 laps to go, and we were running in the top 10, had a chance at a pretty decent finish, and the right front tire just exploded like a bomb coming out of the second turn, and I nailed the wall there. Unfortunately, no other cars got involved, but after it hit the wall on the outside, it bounced off it and spun down the back straightaway and hit it again on the inside. Both impacts were pretty hard, but I'm okay. Like, tell my kids I'm fine, and my parents I'm okay.
Well, folks, I tell you, I've crashed these cars, and it's awfully hard to smile like that when after you've had a day like this. Of course, you had some problems earlier on in practice this morning.
That's true. It just wasn't our day this morning. We had an oiling problem with an engine, and it caused us to spin around and get in the wall a little bit with the left rear corner. But fortunately, that didn't hurt any of the suspension. They did the body work and put another engine in it, but we weren't able to tune the engine. So you know, we just had to run the best we could. We could have used some more steam today into the hood, but the tire was the biggest problem.
Well, Chuck Bown still smiling after all this bad day.